What really gets my dick hard is...
So fucking what?
Hi, it's me, David Mustaine, and you're listening to Metal Up Your Podcast. Nice story.
Welcome to Metal Up Your Podcast. I'm Ethan Luck.
And I'm Clint Wells.
This is episode 79. We're talking about what's it called? Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Disc, not 1, not 2, not 4, not 5, disc 3.
I was titillated just then. I didn't know what you would say.
Just, I don't know.
Disc 3, the bonus disc. It was going to be originally entitled Riff Origins, where it was going to be like the demos, I guess.
Right.
And they decided last minute to put out, sort of collect some of the covers they'd put on various tribute records and a live, sort of from their Record Store Day thing. Anyway, we'll get into all that, all the details. But I'm excited. When Lords of Summer first came out, which is sort of the most important song on this record.
I agree.
I will say, when it first came out, the first pass, quote unquote, that they released a single, it's kind of rough. It's better than a demo, but it's kind of demo-ish.
It's demo-y. I mean, it definitely sounds like they recorded it at HQ.
It's with Hetfield and Ulrich. They produced it.
They produced it and
kind of themselves.
They may have mixed it too. I don't know. This maybe pre-Fiddleman really coming in and like taking over in that studio and like anything they put out there. I mean, even these things from Rasputin in Berkeley sound better than that.
Yeah.
He clearly did those, for the Hardwired release.
And I think when it came out, we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I will say, I don't know if I loved Lords of Summer when I first heard it. It didn't really track with me.
The first version I heard was live. I think they were in Europe or something. They debuted
Columbia
it somewhere.
is when they debuted it.
Where was it?
Columbia,
Ohio.
Columbia is South Carolina.
Got it. But I remember watching that thinking like, this song is so badass. And it was the first glimpse of what's to come we got. We heard nothing else. And then this came out and it was like, holy shit, it's fast. It's a great riff. Hetfield's vocals were great.
Yeah. Well, they were playing another newish song around that time called Vulturous that's not great.
Oh, it's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It's called Vulturous. But having said all that, really burning it down today and really just being in love with Hardwired over the last 2 years, I told you before we started rolling, Lords of Summer is like becoming one of my favorite Metallica songs.
I love this song. That's great.
So we're going to burn this whole record
Yeah, we'll
down.
get into it.
We're both pretty excited about it, it's safe to say. So if you don't know who we are, we're an all-Metallica podcast every week. Ethan and I, who are somehow, amazingly, 2 professional touring musicians.
What?
In 2018.
Impossible.
Which is impossible now. We get together every week and talk about our favorite metal band. Metallica is the reason we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
It's more now.
It's more now.
That's how it started.
It's the foundation.
It's the foundation. It is the core of our friendship. This is what started it all. You've heard the story. Way back yonder.
700 years ago.
700 years ago.
Abraham Lincoln gave his life in the Battle of the Bulge.
Sir Paulius Mocus introduced us.
Paulius?
Matthewicus Mayfieldus was there too. Anyways, you know the story. Anyways, Clint's right. This is a foundation of our friendship. This is... The band is the reason we started this podcast.
It has been cool as we've grown closer as friends over the last year and a half, and this being the thread through the story. Because, we hang out and work together elsewhere, and we know each other's families now, and it's definitely much deeper than that. But
it's way deeper. And speaking of close, Clint and I are sharing the same mic right now, if you can't tell, but we're that close.
It's like the spaghetti scene in The Lady and the Tramp, where the noodle gets closer and closer. And it's like, are we kissing now?
Yep.
Now, here's the deal. We have some housekeeping to do. We've been a podcast we were just musing over this like a little over a year and a half. Now, what comes with all that is we've garnered quite a few listeners. We have responsibilities to adhere to. So we're going to try to blow through this before we start talking about this record. We'll make it quick. We have an iTunes. If you want to go on iTunes, we have an iTunes. I have iTunes.
We have at least
Ethan
one
has
iTunes.
On iTunes, our podcast is available, and you can go leave reviews there.
Right.
They go a long way. Leave us the review, or don't. I don't think we care anymore at this point. But it would be nice.
We've got a lot of reviews
that are nice.
Great positive reviews. We're very thankful.
But we don't wear our fans out if they don't want to go do it.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. That's totally fine.
Right.
If all of you want to do it, we would have like at least 567,000 reviews.
Close.
But it's okay. You don't have to do it. It's fine. We appreciate it if you do. If you don't want to, totally cool. Keep listening and stay on the ride.
We're on all the socials. We're on Instagram. We do Instagram lives. We did one right before this episode. We're probably going to do one right after. It's really fun. They're very loose and candid. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Thing to note about YouTube, we've gotten a lot of people asking how we played some of the songs on our covers EP, Cover Our World Blackened, Volume 1, which you can only get through the Patreon, which we'll talk about that in a second.
True.
So I made a YouTube video, basically a guitar tutorial of how I play the Outlaw Torn.
Oh, nice.
Now, mostly what's going on YouTube is we just put our episodes up there because we have some people who listen exclusively through YouTube. But this is a kind of a new cool thing. So if you haven't been to our YouTube page yet, you can go there and watch about an 8-minute video of me explaining how to play the Outlaw Torn.
Awesome.
So that's cool.
Are you a guitar player? Do you want to learn how to play the Outlaw Torn, Clint style? Go to YouTube.
Do you have a hurdy-gurdy sitting in the corner collecting dust, and it's time to pick it up and play Low Man's Lyric?
It's about time to do it.
Your Best Life Now. That's a Joel Osteen title, by the way.
Sounds like it.
Your best life now.
This is your best life now.
God told me that this is your best life now.
As long as you pick up that dusty hurdy-gurdy.
As long as you pick up that checkbook and send me a check so I can fund my new private jet campaign.
And I'll send you hurdy-gurdy parts.
What I'll do is I'll send you 65 separate parts of a hurdy-gurdy. You assemble it together via the power of the Holy Spirit for 19 payments of $100,000.
It's kind of like Legos.
Well, Legos or Lincoln Logs. You decide.
I prefer Lincoln Logs. He was more American. Legos are Swedish. That's not true. They're Danish.
Do we know a few Danes other than our beloved Lars?
I think we do.
Oh, yeah, Torben. Hey, Torben.
It's so great to see you, Clinton.
You know what's really odd about sitting across from you right now at HQ1 is that...
Is it my beard stroking?
No, it's not your Merlin's beard. I never thought I would see Torben Ulrich, a Danish legend, wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Well, as you know, I live near Lars in Northern California, and there's a beach nearby.
Marin County?
I think it's all called the San Francisco Beach. That's what I've heard.
It's a good beach.
I don't often walk in the sand because I usually hover above it on my carpet.
Yeah.
But Lars and I go for runs near the Golden. One day I'll get it.
Jogging?
Lars and I go jogging, long jogs near the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's so fascinating just to see how many people come over from other countries across the Golden Gate Bridge. I've only been to Marin County, San Francisco beaches, and Denmark.
Just those three places.
I'm fairly certain that when you go over the Golden Gate Bridge, I think that's another country over there. I'm not sure where it is, but what's weird, though, is Lars says HQ is that way.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that HQ is maybe back in Denmark or something.
I just like that you wear your long johns on your long yogs.
Love my long yogs and long yawns. And yes, these Hawaiian shirts are great. You know, it's like I heard a saying that when I put it on, I realized I was uncomfortable my entire life. It feels like I'm very nothing.
Well,
also sounds like I'm German. That's the best I can do. I'm so sorry.
It's very good to chat with you, Torben. Thanks for stopping by.
Great to be here. As you can tell, we've upped our sound effect game.
Yeah, the production level is getting pretty high over here at Metal Up Your Podcast.
That was a custom-made effect of a Torben on a carpet flying away.
Now, what's really cool about what's going on over here at Metal Up Your Podcast land is metalupyourpodcast.com, in which you can listen to all the episodes. You can listen to every other podcast Ethan and I have been on.
All of them.
And thus learning muchos about our various past lives.
Muchos.
You can buy T-shirts and other merch. That supports the show.
It does.
Maybe you don't want to leave the iTunes review. Maybe you don't want to become a patron. Maybe all that's really weird to you. You know what you can do? You can go buy a T-shirt.
Yeah.
All of that goes back into the show.
Buy an extra small one so you look super fucking hot.
Now, speaking of the Patreon...
Speaking of the dudes, by the way.
Speaking of the Patreon, we got a couple new patrons this week. You're going to hear a commercial about that later. For now, we just want to acknowledge and say thank you to Bruno Ivan Acosta and Aurelian Moreau. They became patrons.
Are you related to Furrow?
Furrow
and Moreau. Sounds like a sweet couple.
Now, we heard from Mustaine a little earlier. We're about to get into some Mustaine shit.
Yeah, let's get into some news real quick. Before we dive into email world...
Can I just say real quick before we
Yes.
do news, because I'm about to get grumpy, and
Okay.
before I get grumpy, I want to say pleasant things.
Okay, let me hear something pleasant.
The last thing about the patrons we'll say right now is we do a monthly giveaway now for our patrons. We give away 5 gifts, and we have those 5 winners on this episode, and we are going to name them and the 5 gifts at the end of the episode.
Can't wait.
So everyone should stay tuned and hear that because it's going to be fun, especially if you're a patron, though. You need to stay tuned for that. Now, let's get into some news. Again, before we get into Butthole Mustaine, some relevant news. Now, as of the airing of this podcast, this event that I'm about to describe will have already happened.
Right.
While we're recording, it's the day before.
Okay.
But what I'm speaking of is, on June 14th, Metallica will be awarded the Polar Music Prize in Stockholm, Sweden. Rob and Lars are going to be there. I saw them both post from Instagram
They are
today.
there right now
They're
as we're
currently
recording, yeah.
with their lovely wives. They're going to be inducted by Deep Purple, which is cool because Lars inducted Deep Purple into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2016.
Yep.
We know they're big fans. In fact, there's a Deep Purple cover on the record we're about to talk about right now, When a Blind Man Cries.
Yep.
The band Ghost, which is having quite a heyday.
There's a lot of press about them right now.
Their new album, Prequel, is really fucking cool, dude.
I need to dive into it because you love Ghost.
I love I'm not... People email us a lot about Ghost.
Yeah.
Let me just clear something up here. I do love Ghost. Their last record, Meliora, I love a lot. I don't know anything before that. I understand they have 3 or 4 records before that.
Sure.
I'm not like an OG. I'm not an expert.
You're not a true.
I love their last record, which was very like, it's more commercial. It's the reason they're having a big heyday.
You're coming in on their Black album.
Kind of. It does.
But maybe that will help you maybe go back in time and revisit these early ones.
They're fascinating, but it's not. That's not really happening to me, oddly, because what I'm understanding is their earlier records are so different and like heavier and stuff. And they kind of do this big theatrical, the Papa, and I don't even know how to say it. They have this like Dark Pope, and he changes. There's like Pope 1 and Pope 2, etc. Mm-hmm. This is going to bum our fans out who like are big into Ghost. I know we have a few. I can't even follow all.
It's like Papa Smurf or something.
It's just very dramatic, and there's all this backstory. I just like the tunes.
Sure, well, you're a songwriter. That makes sense.
But their new record Prequel, it is it's really, really fucking good. It
awesome.
really
I need to
good.
check it out. I really do.
And Metallica had Ghost like early on in Ghost's career at one of the Orion festivals because James is a fan of Ghost.
Yeah.
What's cool is Ghost and Candlemass, and these are 2 Swedish bands. That's why, but they're going to be playing Metallica songs. So this will already have happened by the time this airs. But I'm anxious to see what songs they do, how they sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, especially Ghost. I mean, I don't know how theatrical they are. I mean,
yeah.
And
what song like that? The lead singer of Ghost, Tobias Forge, is similar to our age. So I wonder, like, is he going to do an OG, Kill 'Em All Through Justice? Or how cool would it be if he did some kind of cool shit from Load and Reload or something?
I feel like no matter what Ghost does, it'll be, and this is more my hope than anything, my hope is that it'll be kind of the way we've interpreted their songs on our EP.
Like a reimagining.
A reimagining, exactly.
Not like a note for note.
Yeah, like if they did, like, let's say they did, Jump in the Fire. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't just be do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. They would do something really theatrical, a different, I don't know. I'm just anxious either way. I'm anxious to see what they do, how they do it. A reimagining, I think would be really cool. We'll see.
Say your prayers, let the one, don't forget my son, to include everyone. Tuck you in, warm within, keep you free from sin till the sanity comes. Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit light, enter night. Take my hand, we're off to Never, Never Land.
I actually thought today, watching this the live show that's included on disc 3 of Hardwired, I thought, because it's mostly old school material,
right,
and I thought, man, how cool would it be to do like a really delicate version of like Motor Breath or something?
Motor breath.
It's how I live my life.
I can't take it any other way.
Motor breath. Oh, oh, oh.
I do want to do the My Heart Will Go On version of Hit the Lights.
That'd be a good one.
No life to live. Was kicks the last tonight.
I wish I had a whistle right now. I wish I had a
That
record.
was surprisingly in key.
Not
and
far
beautiful.
off. That high note I hit sounded like a kid picking up a recorder for the first time. I've got a melodica. Will that help?
yeah.
All right.
For those of you who are wondering what the
What
Polar
we're
music,
doing right now, I can
I
tell
think
you.
they know. For those of you wondering, like I was earlier this week, wondering what the Polar Music Prize is, it is, quote unquote, given to celebrate music in all its various forms and to emphasize the original intention of the Polar Music Prize, which was to break down musical boundaries by bringing together people from all different worlds of music.
Oh,
That's nice.
it's adorable.
And yet another
Has
reason,
Metallica done that? Fuck yes, they have.
they've
of
only
course.
been doing that for 35 years.
At least 5.
Now, if it's if we needed another reason to be proud of the boys, of course we love when they. This is a prestigious award. That's not just a metal thing. This is like a, they're representing hard music and this thing that
for
lots
sure.
of other esteemed artists have won. So
Right.
congrats to them. We'll see, hopefully the Ghost performance is worth a shit. Now, let's get to the grumpy news.
Grumpy news.
Dave Mustaine, in his never-ending campaign to be the poster boy for all douchebags, has come out. It's almost not his fault in a way because journalists are asking him.
They
Now,
are. His
they're
response is.
Now they're doing their
mean,
jobs.
of course.
I would submit. They're doing their jobs. They're getting clickbait. They're trying to make their stories as juicy as possible.
Of course.
The problem is they know that Dave Mustaine is literally incapable of taking the high road. He's literally incapable.
He
of
can't
it.
just be like, you know what? Yeah, that sucked back then, but it's made me a better person. I've become a millionaire because of it. I've sold millions of records because of it, and I'm grateful.
Oh.
He can't do that.
Him being gracious and grateful, impossible.
Oh, they sold billions.
Right. I hate being a millionaire if I can't be a goddamn billionaire.
I hate that I own multiple properties.
Now, here's another facet of this, and I'm about to read this quote. He was asked about the No Left to Leather box set that we now know did not come out. When Metallica started doing these big box sets, they started with Kill 'Em All.
They wanted to start with No Left to Leather.
They wanted to start with No Left to Leather, and I think even when we talked about this a year ago, all we knew was what Lars had said, which was they ran into some legal trouble.
Right.
And they ran into some like red tape, and they decided just to move on with Kill 'Em All. We've since found out that red tape isn't the original producer or Johnny Z.
No, it's a guy with red hair.
It's a guy with a red butt. like an orangutan.
Yes.
Now, here's what he said. Now, he was asked about the No Life to Leather box set. I'm going to read this quote entirely, and then we're going to talk about this.
All right, sounds good.
And I will say this pisses me off.
As it should.
So speaking of the No Life to Leather box set, Dave Mustaine said this. He says, I'm not going to give Lars my credit. I'm not going to be a part of it. I wrote all of Mechanics. I wrote all of Jump in the Fire. So me giving any percentage of that to Lars Ulrich, he can pound sand.
Which doesn't really hurt, by the way.
And as far as the song Phantom Lord, I wrote every note of that music. James Hetfield wrote all the lyrics. That's 50-50. If James wants to give his percentage up to Lars because he's afraid of him, that's up to him. I'm not afraid of Lars Ulrich, and I'm not giving him my percentage. And the same thing with Metal Militia. I wrote every single note of that music. James wrote every note of that lyric. That's 50-50. If James wants to give Lars his percentage, that's fine if he's afraid of him. I'm not afraid of him. I'm not giving nothing to Lars Ulrich. He says, now they took it in the past, apparently referring to Kill 'Em All credits. He says, everybody knows that, and the past is the past, but I could not willingly enter into a new agreement with these guys predicated on Lars getting credit for something that not only he did not do, but was incapable of doing. And then he unfortunately elaborates, he was incapable of writing songs that good back then. Now, there's a little more. Actually, no, you're right. Let's stay here. Okay.
Well, first of all, yes, Lars is incapable of writing these riffs because guess what? He's not a guitar player. He's a drummer and he's an arranger.
He helped write Hit the Lights, and Hit the Lights is one of the best songs in their catalog.
Sure. My question is...
He is a great arranger.
Jump in the Fire, Phantom Lord,
Metal Militia.
I find it hard to believe... Now listen, I'll defend Mustaine mildly...
And Mechanics.
By saying, if they're going to re-release this, should Dave give up some of his percentage to Lars Ulrich? Probably not. Now, other question here is, did Lars, as he's done with every other fucking Metallica song, did he originally, when they wrote these songs, was he sitting there arranging? Was he doing the Lars thing where he's like,
yes.
Dave, that's fucking great. James, that's fucking great. Let's put that over here and put that over here.
The answer is yes. And you know what the proof is? The song Motor Breath only has one credit. Guess who that is? James Hetfield. So if the whole deal was Lars gets arrangement credit even if he didn't do anything, just because that's some sort of handshake deal.
Yeah.
Like Lennon McCartney had a handshake deal.
Yeah.
Everything they did in Beatles was Lennon McCartney, even though any student of the Beatles knows they quit writing songs together real early on.
Right.
The song Give Peace a Chance, which is John Lennon in bed with Yoko Ono, is credited as Lennon McCartney.
That
you
is
think
crazy.
Paul had a single fucking thing to do with Give Peace a Chance?
You think he was in bed with him?
That was at the end.
Very end.
Now, so Dave's idea is like, Lars takes credit where he's not due. And I'm unwilling to do that. Even though, guess what? Hypocrisy alarm. He did it for Kill 'Em all these years.
Yeah.
He did it for the Kill 'Em All reissue. Right?
Right.
He says he wrote Jump in the Fire, every bit of it. That's credited to 3 people, Lars included. Same with Phantom Lord, same with Metal Militia. So that fucking cocksucker.
So why all of a sudden now with...
Right, now he's all principled, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't add up. He's full of shit.
So he turned down the No Left to Leather box set. Said, no, we're not fucking doing
he's
it.
deciding to
I'm not giving up this, and this.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm not giving anything to Lars, although he did for Kill 'Em All.
Now, here's a question. Even though it's the same song, different recordings, are those 2 different deals as far as publishing is concerned?
No.
They shouldn't be, right?
Publishing is publishing.
Because it's the same song.
Yes.
Re-recorded doesn't make it a new publishing thing, right?
Correct.
Like if all of a sudden Metallica decided to cover one of my songs, which I'm sure they will one day, it's not a new publishing deal.
Re-recording, it changes who owns the master. That's
right.
all. It doesn't change
Right, so the
publishing.
original master of these, of No Left to Leather is probably owned by Metallica.
Yeah, because they recorded them in Ron McGovney's garage.
Right.
Or they belong, or...
Brian Slade, maybe?
Slagle. Brian
Sladius? Maximus?
Well, he owns probably the master of the Metal Massacre release.
Right.
But the point is, you actually have hung out with Dave Mustaine.
I have, yeah. Been a long time.
And he bragged to you about how much money he has made.
Yes.
Off of, I think you guys specifically were talking about
Creeping Death.
Well, he didn't co-write that, but Creeping Death sold a lot of copies of Ride the Lightning,
right?
And he has co-writes on Ride the Lightning and Call of Cthulhu.
Totally. He didn't specifically say like I've made a lot of money off that song.
Right.
He said,
because the OC
do you know how much money
Supertones-
I've? Yeah, my old band. We've talked about this in the past a while ago. Our first couple records, there were intros like. Well, the first one was Am I Evil, which isn't Metallica, anyways.
Right.
But then the second record was Creeping Death. Third record was Damage Inc. And
I've not heard that. I'd like to hear that.
you can. I can play it for you.
You can. It's available on iTunes. For
It's available on
$9.99.
iTunes right now. Well, technically I didn't play on that record, so I won't get anything. So don't even play it.
Okay.
But yeah, when I mentioned it to Dave Mustaine to his face, I asked him, I said, would it be weird for you to be side stage watching us, which he was in Phoenix, Arizona? We open with the riff to Creeping Death and go into our song. It's just kind of what we do. And he looks at me, and literally he goes, dude, I don't care. He's like, do you know how much money I've made off those guys?
All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's pause there. So I'm not a Megadeth fan. I try to be respectful. We wanted him to come on the show and talk about the legacy of Megadeth and his early days in Metallica. He declined. So
We wanted to talk about him.
Well, the gloves are off. The gloves are off for me because I'm not a fan, and I think he's a total fucking asshole. Now, the hypocrisy of this whole thing you're saying, he's bragging about how much money he's made. Obviously, the guys aren't trying to... The Metallica guys, who, by the way, have not responded to any of this publicly.
They never do.
Which, what is that? That says a lot to me.
A ton.
Now, another big tell is in any type of... The logic of arguing, if you've been embroiled in arguments for a long time, which I have... if you're making an argument that is solid, here's what you don't have to do to drive it home is insult the other person.
Right.
Now, we're going to get to more insults in a second, but here's what he said 2 times. If James wants to give Lars credit because he's afraid of Lars,
Because
let
he's
him.
afraid of Lars.
He does it twice. He says,
Yeah.
James is afraid of Lars. Now, we learned this in the Some Kind of Monster documentary, but I think we all probably knew it all along. I don't think James Hetfield is afraid of Lars Ulrich. I don't think Lars Ulrich is afraid of James Hetfield.
Right.
Those two dudes built this fucking band together.
Which is why there over the years has been a constant headbutting battle with them, and nobody comes out on top. It's even.
And that's actually probably
They're the
one of
Lennon
big,
and McCartney of metal.
and that's one of the big reasons that they're so great.
Right.
Is they have that yin and yang.
Exactly.
I think they respect each other, and I think they've had to find ways to make sacrifices to make each other's personalities work.
Sure.
Whether it was James, I can only record 4 hours a day, or let Lars decide the set list because Lars is a control freak and Lars
Right.
knows every city they've ever played.
Yes. I think James and Lars's conflicts over the years are the reason we have such great songs by this band. And we have and the reason we have Metallica and we have them to this day in 2018. If like one guy buckled and the other one didn't, I think it'd be a totally different band. If James buckled to Lars, he was afraid of him, quote unquote, and he was afraid of him. Or if vice versa, I think this band would be completely different. One person would get their way more than the other, and that wouldn't fly.
It just really bums me out that because I'm not as I've said, I'm not a Megadeth fan. I'm a Metallica fan. Now I appreciate that Dave wrote "Jump in the Fire" and he wrote "Metal Militia" is my least favorite Metallica song, including "Purify" from Saint Anger. I'll say that.
Wow.
But I appreciate that he wrote it. I appreciate the mechanics. I think James made it way better. Mechanics, I think, sucks lyrically.
The Megadeth mechanics, as most of you probably have heard.
The lyrics are totally fucking
it's
stupid.
Really, really, really fast, first of all, and maybe this is me just having heard Four Horsemen for so much longer. It's way too fast. You're right. Lyrically, it's not as great.
But I'm trying to be cool. Like, I appreciate it, right?
Of course.
But
I love his contribution to this band.
But it bums me out that the reason I can't get this expanded box set is because of this dickhead.
Yeah.
Who takes the money, who's been taking the money for 30 fucking years.
Yes, he has, yeah.
And now he's just suddenly principled. So, all right. So I think we've kind of burnt that down.
Have we?
Now, not stopping there, he was asked if that means that there will never be another concert featuring the so-called Big Four of 1980s thrash metal, meaning, of course, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. Dave said, "Oh, I don't know about that. That has nothing to do with the Big Four. I think Lars is just afraid to play with Megadeth."
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Seriously, dude?
Well, first of all, is he afraid to do something he's already done? They played with Megadeth in the 80s. They played with Megadeth in the 90s. And they did big 4 shows with Megadeth.
And had a like powwow backstage and like seemed to work out stuff or even just hang out and talk and chill.
Well, I thought that was actually Lars being really generous and saying, hey, my son's a big fan of your band.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know what Megadeth did? They played a 1-hour opening slot for Metallica.
And they always will. That's just the fact of the
They
matter.
never will not do that.
That's the fact of the matter.
And that's actually what the whole point of this is. Here's the whole armchair psychologist summation of the whole problem. David Mustaine was fired from a band he was in for just a few months that then went, and it was his fault, that then went on to become the biggest band of all time.
Yeah.
And he'll just never get over it.
Never get over it. And never get over the fact that Megadeth will never even come close to touching Metallica.
But the thing is, Megadeth, compared to most bands that try to do anything, has been extremely successful.
Most bands.
Grammy Award winning, multi-platinum.
So, I mean, have sold millions and millions of records.
And that's why I submit to you all that what Dave is doing in his never-ending crusade of bitterness and pettiness is disrespecting the current lineup of Megadeth. You think Dave Ellefson reads this shit and goes, yeah, that's my guy. Dave Ellefson reads this and goes, God damn it.
I've also hung out with him more times than Dave Mustaine.
Right.
One of the nicest,
He's so cool.
kindest people I've ever met. If you follow Dave Ellefson on Instagram and social media, he always posts videos and this and that. Or if you watch a lot of the behind the scenes Big Four stuff,
He's great in it.
He practically hosts the
Well,
damn thing.
yeah, he does kind of host it, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, let's go outside. Me and so and so have a bet on if it's going to rain or not. I say it's not going to.
And
He
he's
says
hanging
it
with
is.
the Anthrax guys and
He's like the social butterfly. And honestly, like when I was in Demon Hunter, and this is when Ellefson was not in Megadeth. He was working for the guitar/amp company Peavey. He was an artist rep for them.
I met him during that time too.
He was our artist rep, and he was super cool. Sent me some cool shit. Came to some shows. Was the nicest dude. And I'm sure he's the same exact way to this day.
Well, and he's no joke as a bass player. He's an amazing,
Incredible bass player.
He is a part of the fabric of thrash legend.
Listen to fucking Rest in Peace. I mean, there's so many little bass things in there that like are fucking hard to play.
And he's got to read this. So I think it's disrespectful to him and that Broderick guy. All the dudes in Megadeth currently are
Matthew Broderick.
who did Inspector Gadget and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Then he retired from film industry to play guitar for Megadeth.
Yeah, he's really good.
But all the guys...
Chris Broderick.
Chris Broderick.
Is that the latest guy? No. That was the last dude.
No, Chris Broderick's the dude now. Long dark hair.
No. Chris Broderick was the guy from a band called Nevermore, I believe.
Oh, Christ. Should we... Let's do...
No, I'm serious. His name is like... someone right now is going, it's Blas or
Here's the
whatever.
deal. If you're in your car, you're on the toilet, and you're mad that we don't know, just relax. We're going to figure it out.
Kiko. Clint is just...
Is that a new Is that a Disney children's film?
Have you seen the new Pixar movie Kiko? His name is Kiko Lario.
Okay, so this Broderick cat's
Rio?
older.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm arguing with you about this because I don't know anything about Megadeth.
Now that Broderick dude, Matthew Broderick,
Great actor.
great actor, great guitar player. When I saw Megadeth a couple years ago with Iron Maiden here in Nashville, that dude was playing. And he was fucking great.
Dave's been really lucky that he's been able to have great bands. I mean, Marty Friedman is one of the greatest guitar players in metal.
Easily.
And in fact, you and I have pontificated before, like this whole, Pantera 2.0.
Right.
Minus the most important member who passed, who was killed. My vote for that would be someone like Marty Friedman.
Yeah.
Even more than Zakk Wylde.
Yeah. That was my vote.
But anyway, so it's disrespectful to the current lineup.
Yeah, especially Kiko.
Especially Broderick, who's not in the band anymore. It's disrespectful to the fans, who just have to deal with it and be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And it's disrespectful to the legacy of Megadeth.
It is.
Stop it.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, like when Mustaine's sitting there on his phone and somebody asks him a question or he's in an interview and somebody asks about Metallica and he goes on these rants like this. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, does he walk away going, yeah, I told them?
Yeah, I think so.
Does he really believe that, like, excuse me, that, like, A, he told them,
yes,
and B, does he really think that it's going to change, like, the dynamic of the Metallica Megadeth thing? Like, are all of a sudden people going to go, holy shit, he's right. Fuck Metallica. We're never going to buy the records again. Megadeth's going to be the biggest band ever.
No, I don't think he thinks that. I think what he's trying to do is I think he's trying to put markers in the sand.
Yeah.
Of like, when the history books are written, there's now a footnote that he fucking stood up against Lars. He's the only guy who's not afraid of mean old Lars Ulrich.
Oh my gosh.
So
his little Danish friend.
And like more armchair psychology, it's like him getting fired from Metallica was out of his control. His alcoholism out of his control. Probably a lot in Dave's life feels out of his control.
Sure.
Him being able to basically stop this project from seeing the light of day is him being able to exercise some form of control. Like,
you think to him that's a win?
Yes.
In his life?
I think it's a big win. I think if he can say everything that's happened with Metallica, including me being fired, them being huge, they may kill them all with who he thinks was a lesser guitar player, Kirk Hammett, which I disagree with, and then they just shot up to the stratosphere, all been out of his control, and I think it drives him fucking nuts.
He's finally in control of something.
In Metallica world, which is this gigantic world now, he can control it, and I think he's thumbing it.
Now, do you think it also drives him crazy that... I know it's a long pause. Basically, even though he fought this fight to say, I need this, you can't take my royalties, blah, blah, blah. And the fact that Metallica...
Well, let's be clear. They're not taking his royalties. They're not saying we're not giving you credit.
Right.
He just doesn't want to share credit with Lars.
It would be a less of a percentage for him.
Right.
That's what he's saying,
Correct.
basically. Like,
Correct.
let's say Dave gets 50%, but if Lars is like, well, I arranged it, I should get 20 or whatever. That means less for James and Dave.
Right.
Now, I wonder if the reason he's still going on about this, like, yeah, he got his way where it's like, this isn't coming out. But I wonder if when he originally brought this up and he was originally pissed about it, I wonder if his thought was, I'm going to show them. I'm going to make this public. I'm going to tweet about it, all that bullshit. They're going to respond and be like, okay, you're right. We're Metallica. We want to give our fans the best we can give them. We're still going to put it out. We'll give you what you want. Do you think it angers him that they didn't put it out?
Yes. And I think that's why he keeps talking about it.
Right.
Because I actually read this really great quote with Lars, and it's Lars taking the high road.
They always do.
So Lars goes, hey, we really wanted to do this project. We ran into some red tape, and we really couldn't figure it out. And he never named it. He never even... there are no jabs.
No.
He goes, and James and I decided that this whole endeavor, these re-releases and box sets, are about celebrating the past and not being bogged down by what's unpleasantries, he says.
Right, yeah.
So we decided to move forward, kill them all. And again, highlighting the contrast between two dudes who want to give the fans the best they can,
Yeah.
and one guy who's just all he cares about is his goddamn self.
It's really frustrating.
It's so frustrating that like we've talked about it too much.
We have,
but we are a Metallica podcast. I do feel like
we've been talking about Metallica.
We needed to weigh in on that because
of course we do.
He's taking shots at the boys, and it's just it doesn't hold water.
Well, and not only did he was he cool with like the Kill 'Em All box set. He was also cool when they released the Left to Leather reissue cassette for Record Store Day.
How about them playing a lot of songs that Dave co-wrote on Hardwired Disc 3, which we're going to get into?
How about the amount of money the lovely Metallica fans have paid over the years for not only this,
I got to say,
but any live recording that has anything to do with Dave Mustaine.
Yep.
Guess what, Metal Up Your Podcast family? Dave Mustaine gets money off that.
Every fucking record sold of S&M, Dave got paid for because of Call of Cthulhu.
Yes. Any live recording that anyone has downloaded and paid $10 for or whatever, Binge and Purge. Yes.
Binge and Purge was huge. Binge and Purge went platinum.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly
Guess who got royalty checks? Dave
what was
Mustaine.
on that? Four Horsemen was on Binge and Purge.
Yeah.
So I think actually multiple cuts on that were Dave's.
I mean, God.
They did Ride the Lightning maybe.
What did they do off of... why am I blanking right now?
I don't know.
The movie...
Through the Never. They did the Ride the Lightning.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Dave has been making money off this band for a long ass time.
And we know we have insight through our friend Ethan here. He brags about it.
He did to me, and this was like 2000.
Sorry, man.
I'm getting the church giggles because Clint's face a second ago, he looked legitimately pissed off.
I'm cool. Everything's cool.
Be cool, bro.
Be cool, my babies.
Be cool.
Well,
should we just end the episode there? Thanks for listening.
That was episode 70, whatever we're on.
We're retitling it. What in the hell pisses off Clint
I know
Wells?
that was a long tangent, but it was worth us weighing in on, I believe.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, we're a bit into the episode already, and we haven't gotten emails yet. However, that was worth talking about. It's worth elaborating on and getting into detail on because it's still Metallica related. And
I know.
It should piss most of us off. I'm sure there's people out there right now going like,
no, the temperature on the
I still back Mustaine, blah, 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 and that's fine.
No.
I still listen to Megadeth.
No, I don't. I don't think so. Just the temperature on the forums, which I don't know. That's just like a small barometer.
Sure.
Temperature on the forums is everyone's pretty pissed off because,
Right.
when he started talking shit maybe a year ago, and we covered it on the show, it was kind of cutesy.
It was fun.
But now it's like all these months later, we're all kind of like, all right.
Enough
God
already, dude. We
dang it.
get it.
So the temperature is that it's not cool.
If he ever decides to be on the show.
I think that's out.
Of course it's out.
I think that's out.
If he ever decides, hey guys, I reconsidered. I want to be on the show. Ask me whatever.
Well, I really appreciate it.
I think what we should do is ask him any question that will just get him going crazy.
It'd be great for the podcast.
Like, hey,
I don't think I could be in a room with that fucking guy.
so when you did the Some Kind of Monster interview, was there one person you wish was there that wasn't? Elaborate on that, Dave.
Not a person per se. I just wish I could had a hole in the ground to smoke hash through.
With my Danish friend.
My little Dane.
My little Danish friend.
All right, look, we got to move on.
Let's go to page 2 of our notes, by the way.
Now, here's the deal. We are down to a hard 5 emails. We're going to do 5 from now on. But we like it because we like to dip in with our fans. We like to hear what they're thinking about. And a lot of these emails spur a lot of conversations about Metallica, which is what the whole podcast is about. Having said that, shall we go now, my faithful friend Ethan, to the email corner?
Let us go. All right, our first email is from Aaron Cochran. Hey guys, love the podcast. Was listening to the Freeze 'em All episode and heard you reference a 54-minute video that deals with the gear and prep for the show. Being a 5th member, I was easily able to find the show itself, but cannot find the video reference. Love the show. Sincerely, Aaron. Literally all you have to do is go on YouTube and type in Metallica, Antarctica, Coca-Cola.
So he's saying, like, I guess what we said on the episode was you could find that all in the 5th member area of the website. But you're saying
That was what you were talking about.
But yours was like a YouTube thing. So go look up Freeze 'em All YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, the one that I found was on YouTube. The one that Clint found that's on Metallica.com is what, 20-something minutes?
It's like 20 minutes, yeah.
The one I found is like pushing an hour.
Yeah.
And it's something that like Coca-Cola put out. And now it's all English subtitles. Most of it's English. But whenever you hear people from South America speaking, if you don't speak Portuguese or Spanish or whatever, then you're not going to get it. But either way,
YouTube's where to find it.
It's on YouTube. It's very informative. It's awesome. Thank you, Aaron.
Lars Asfog says, hey, just discovered the podcast, and I'm so excited to hear you guys talk about Metallica again in the same way me and my friends did years ago. You know, that's a big compliment of the show, as an aside.
Right,
here,
yeah.
That it's conversational. 2 buds, which that's what it is.
2 butts.
2 butts colliding.
2 butts colliding.
Okay. He says, I was laughing hard out loud in a store today when I heard the A Year in the Life podcast where you referenced the guy with the afro outside the record store talking about Wherever I May Roam.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, it's like
I can't remember.
What does he say?
it's like a life goes on and on when you die.
Like, that dude's awesome.
Probably Wherever I May Roam. Just the fact that it's about, even after you die, you can hopefully go on,
Lars goes on to say, for some reason that really hit home. I hope you guys keep making these, and at some point, I'm sure you'll be able to arrange an interview with our favorite little Dane at some point. By the way, you should plug good old Torben's didgeridoo project. It's pretty out there. Cheers, Lars. So
Go on.
I found this link, and Torben has a didgeridoo project that I found on YouTube called I can't even remember what it's called, but we're about to hear
Torben's Didgeridoo Project.
No, it's called like
You know what it should be called? Torben Down Under.
It's called something weird.
It should be Torben Down Under.
It's
because
like John Cage's like far out piano didgeridoo.
Why would a Danish guy play a didgeridoo?
Let's just dip in and hear a bit.
Let's dip in real quick.
Jeg glemte at sige, at den her musik, den hedder 21 stykker for piano eller flygel og nedløbsrør. Så derfor.
Wow. Well, I think my inspiration was on that one. See, I can't fully do this with a straight face because you immediately go.
Sorry. So I try to do it off mic.
So I was hovering off of my carpet, just off the coast of San Francisco Beach. I think I must have just went a bit too far because I ended up down with the crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin, and I have to sneeze for a second. One. I was trying to hold back that sneeze.
I have to sneeze for a second.
Just for a second. So I was hanging out with Steve Irwin, and the singer from Midnight Oil, and Natalie Imbruglia, and then Angus Young said, "Hey, would you like to learn how to play the SG guitar?" And I said, "No, thank you." And then I heard this noise in the distance, and it sounded like this. I said, what is that? It's not an SG guitar. And it sounds like, I'm starting to get into like John Lennon or Paul McCartney. It sounds like an SG guitar.
Well, if you want me to play didgeridoo, Paul, I'll play it. If you want me to go home, I'll play it.
So I heard this noise, and I said, "What is it?" And he said, "It's a didgeridoo." And I said, I must make an album right away. I must make an album. So all that to say, Torben made a didgeridoo
Well, you guys
record.
go check it out. It's available for purchase.
That might have been my most random Torben moment.
That was good.
Was it?
Do you? Didgeridoo you?
Oh, didgeridoo you. I'm going to didgeridoo don't ever do that again. All right, next email is from Mark Ferguson. So I was in the Safeway parking lot. If you don't know Safeway, that's predominantly a West Coast thing. It's kind of like a better version of Kroger.
Yeah, it's a grocery store.
Grocery store, pharmacy, this and that. Safeway was awesome.
This and that.
Great deli. You love when I say this and that.
Because it covers so much.
It covers a ton.
That's a grocery store, a pharmacy, this and that. A tire shop.
Here's
a bakery.
Here's a better
A
example.
karate dojo.
Dave's been complaining about a lot of shit, this and that. That covers it, right? Everything.
You could just say Dave Mustaine, this and that.
That's right. Blah, 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 blah. And I saw a teenager in a Right Lightning t-shirt. I looked at him for a few moments wondering if I should ask him if he could name 2 songs from the album. This happens to me often, by the way. This happens every single time I see someone under 30 wearing a Metallica shirt, trying to get a sense of whether they're a fan or a Hot Topic poser. I cred the podcast, and specifically Clint and his asides, for this new quirk of my behavior. Anyways, I've decided there's no way to ask without sounding like a total douche, so I let it go. All right, Mark, here's the thing. Oh, by the way, he said, he finishes by saying, there's no additional point to the story. I just thought you'd find it funny. I do find it funny.
It is funny, yeah.
Because I have thought the same thing for many, many, many years. Anytime I see someone younger, see, I wouldn't say under 30. I would say like 21 or younger.
But he's right, though, in a sense that it's hard to land the calling them out. Mm-hmm. And I have a story from this past weekend that I'll share.
I feel like I could dive in. Like if I saw somebody that, like, let's say wearing a Right Lightning shirt, mm-hmm. and it just got to me. I was like, "There's no way they know 2 songs of their record."
And you want to stick it to them.
I feel like I could politely stick it to them. Like I'd be like,
well, because let's face it, they mildly deserve it. Don't
maybe.
Like it's okay to wear the thing because you think it looks cool, or
well, you won't know if they deserve it until you start talking to them. You might walk up and be like,
"That's true." Well,
you might walk up and be like, "Oh yeah, you like that record, Red Lightning?" And they'll be like, "Oh, you mean one of the Fleming Rasmussen masterpieces?"
Or if you're like,
"You're cool."
Or if you were like, "Name 2 songs of Red Lightning," they're like, "Trip Under Ice and Escape." You're like, "Oh shit,
oh fuck,
this motherfucker knows."
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
But I feel like if I was in, let's say, a Target, and I saw someone in a Red Lightning shirt, and they were browsing the greeting card section.
Yeah, Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day. I'd walk over and I'd go in the Mother's Day section of the card section and glance over and, hey man.
Would you just casually say, "Dear Mother, Dear Father Earth," and see what they said?
If they were wearing a Justice shirt, yes.
Yeah, right. But we're
Lightning, right.
Yeah, Lightning.
So I would just, be grabbing a card and like I kind of do a little chuckle. Like, that's a pretty good one. Set it down, look over and be like, oh, hey man, you Metallica fan? And if they say no to that, instantly you're fucking going down. But if they're like, yes, okay, great. Dude, what a great record, right? Red Lightning. I mean, one of their masterpieces.
Yeah, I love it or say it bad.
But they could prolong and be like, yeah, it's a great record. You're like, damn it.
That is a record that
what do I do?
Metallica
What do I
made.
do next? I mean, what do you think of the production style on that? Rather than just coming in hot and going,
do you
name 2 songs off that record?
No, if you could be like, what
a big jump.
That bass intro kind of hook on From the Bell Tolls. It's a shame that Cliff's not around anymore because that's the essence
Who's
of that.
Cliff?
Right, there you go.
And then right there, you
ding ding ding.
You kick his ass.
All right, we know. Then we'll murder, death, kill.
Right.
From
all of them.
From Demolition Man.
I think even an easy way would be like, man, what a jump in production from Kill 'Em All to that record.
Let's kill 'em all.
Now, if this dude, did you say it was a dude?
A kid.
Under
30.
A teenager.
A teen.
But here's the thing. When I was a teenager getting into Metallica,
I knew my shit.
Well, not only that, but again, they were probably like, let's say I was at the mall in Orange County wearing like my Injustice for All shirt or any of my Black Album shirts. I had a bunch of them back in the day. Let's say some old school dude from the Kill 'Em All era was there with his wife smoking in the mall because he's fucking doesn't give a shit.
And because it's 1986.
Well, I'm not
you're
that,
talking
I'm
about,
not,
were you talking
I'm
about
not that
89?
old.
Oh, 89.
So let's say
Black Album t-shirts, 92.
Black Album, yeah, early 90s.
Let's say it's 92.
But let's say there's someone that's 10 years older than I am in their early 20s at that time. They see like a 13-year-old me wearing a Sabbath True shirt, probably felt the same way. Like, who the fuck is this kid? He's too young to like my band. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I know we've gone on too much about this. I think the same thing. I see like a young kid in a Misfit shirt. I'm like, name me 2 songs.
Well, I can't help but ask, not even out of testing them, I just get so excited. So this last weekend I was playing at a country music festival in upstate New York. And, like the country music scene, it was basically, anytime there's a big country music festival elsewhere in the country,
right?
It's all of our friends from Nashville.
Sure.
Because that's kind of just where country music is made here.
Yes.
So it's almost kind of a fun reunion because you get to just see all your friends. So it was kind of like that. We're upstate New York. It was a really fun, wild festival, but it was weird to be in upstate New York playing this music. And I saw a dude wearing in catering area. So this was like a dude was either in
this is like backstage.
He was either in another band or he was with a crew. And he was wearing a Hardwired to Self-Destruct t-shirt. Now, of course.
What was your first thought?
Well, of course, there's something in the snob in me wants to be like, do you really know it the way I know it, you motherfucker?
I can tell you my first thought would be he knows what he's talking about.
That is what that was my first thought. My first thought was, oh, thank goodness.
Because if you're like somebody that doesn't know anything about Metallica and you're going to go buy a Metallica shirt, you're not going to buy a Hardwire shirt.
It's unlikely. You're probably going to buy like Puppets or Lightning.
Yeah, Justice maybe.
Maybe Justice. Some of the more iconic images associated with Metallica.
At least I hope so.
So I go, dude, my first thing was, dude, Metallica. And he was like, yeah. And I said, dude, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, right? So great, right? And he didn't know what I was talking about. And he's wearing, and his shirt was like 4 panels, four kind of reddish, weird face panels
Say
of
it
Hardwired.
ain't so. He was just trying to be like ironic or something?
And it dawned on me immediately. Well, I think what he did, which is super forgivable, is he saw a Metallica shirt that he thought looked cool, and he bought it, and now he wears it.
Now, did he know? Obviously, he knew who Metallica was.
He's a Metallica casual.
Okay.
But when I was like, dude, Hardwired is so good, right? He did not know what I was talking about.
What are you talking about, man?
And it's not like he was just wearing a shirt that just said Metallica. He was wearing a Hardwired Self-Destruct shirt.
I play for Luke Bryan. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I didn't land it. I ended up kind of looking like a snobby douchebag because I was just like, I was a little sauced.
This is
It was after our set.
This is excuse me. This is why you and I need to be on tour.
I was kind of hard on him
because I could back you up. Like if you ever get in that pickle, like oh shit, I'm coming in too hot. I could come in and be like, oh, what he means is.
Well, I was like, oh, so well, I mean, I kind of tried to land it. I was like, oh, you don't know what Hardwired is. Like you're just wearing it because you like the shirt. And he was like, well, I mean, like I'm a fan, you know.
I
like,
love Stamp True.
And then there was a guy sitting next to me from another band. Anyway, he goes, dude, this guy does a whole Metallica podcast. You blew it.
Don't fuck with him.
You blew it with this guy. But right. I kind of wanted to eschew that. I don't want that reputation. Like, it's okay if you just thought it looked cool, but I am disappointed that you don't know what it is.
Only because you should. It's a great record.
I'll tell you what I don't do, and I'm no hero. I don't wear shirts that I don't know what they mean.
Right.
I'm not wearing a fucking cattle decapitation t-shirt.
I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt right now, and I know what it means. It means I'm fucking comfortable. And I'm on island time right now. You know what? It's so fitting that we're so far into this episode already. We haven't even talked about this disc 3. You know why it is? It's my Hawaiian shirt because I'm on island time. It brought a very
loose vibe.
No, it's island time, man. We'll get to it. You guys calm down. We'll get to it eventually.
Well, moving on.
I'm going to hang 10 for a second.
Our next email is from our new patron, Aurelian from Moreau.
Oh, Aurelian.
Says, hi guys, discovered your podcast 1 month ago thanks to the Bradlingtons and their amazing single podcast theory.
Is that their new name? The Bradlingtons?
They've been so dubbed that they have many fans now.
Soda Bradlingtons.
I am the godfather of the premier
You are.
Pearl Jam podcast, single podcast theory.
Yeah.
Which is one of my best friends of all time in the whole universe through time and space.
Thank you, but I don't host that podcast.
Is Brad Lyons, and I got him hooked up with a fan of Metal Up Your Podcast, Brad Blazik, and they've started this amazing Pearl Jam podcast called Single Podcast Theory. So it's really a treat that fans of that podcast are coming to us now.
And vice versa. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We support
the scale on that's probably 90-10. 90-10 in
Lady Justice scales.
All right, so he says, so far I've listened to 30 episodes of your podcast, alternating old and new episodes. I enjoy the ride. Metal Up Your Podcast is, all caps, awesome. Unlike most of your listeners, I'm a casual Metallica fan. I discovered Metallica with the Black Album when I was 13. Enjoyed a few tracks from Load, but that was it. My friends were listening to the previous albums, but being an alternative rock guy and then a new metal guy, I consider Metallica an old school band.
And then I was in catering and I wore a Hardwired shirt.
And Clint
and you came up to me because I'm a casual fan.
I don't want to be the guy that insults casuals, though, because I don't feel that way. I don't care.
Listen,
I don't feel elitist about it.
On the road, numerous times on days off, whether we're at an arena, amphitheater, stadium, whatever, there's a local hand with a Metallica shirt. I usually at some point walk up and be like, dude, I love your shirt. And they're like, thanks, man. Original from 84. Or they're like, cool, my friend gave it to me.
Something to wear.
If I see a Metallica shirt and there's an opportunity to talk to somebody, I usually engage in it. Anytime me and my wife are out doing whatever and I see someone in a Metallica shirt, I look at her and I go, we should have business cards.
It's like when you pass someone driving like the same car you have.
Exactly.
You kind of like want to like we're on a team.
Yes.
And if they sort of ignore that, it feels like a betrayal.
So, as you know, I've recently been driving for Lyft to make extra money. And they give you this thing to put in the front of your car. It lights up so people can see when you're coming. Anytime I'm driving, especially at night when I can see other cars with the same thing, it's the same feeling. I literally, by myself in the car, look over and go, what's up, Lyft brother or sister?
Yeah, or hermaphrodite.
It's the same thing. Hopefully you're a Metallica fan, too.
It's like when you put your hand on the window and you hope they're putting their hand on looking at the same moon.
Exactly.
Maybe you're listening to Lords of Summer.
They're putting their hand up and it says, not Penny's boat. Anybody? Lost? Too soon? Too old?
Both.
Both.
Too great.
I was just thinking today about what a fucking ripoff Lost was. What a total fucking ripoff.
Was it?
First season?
First, like...
Hold on. I'm not done.
Shit.
First season, I thought, this is probably top 5 most interesting television that's ever happened. It's amazing that this was written and produced and acted, and that they shot it, and it's this good.
Yeah.
All right? It was a fucking phenomenon, cultural phenomenon.
Totally.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Back in 2000.
I think it was like 94. Yeah, but it was whenever Load came out. Yeah.
Season 2, The Hatch.
The Hatch.
Which I thought...
Where they find Desmond.
When they find Desmond. At the end, though.
Hello, brother.
And then Desmond was probably one of my favorites.
Me too.
Season 3 was The Others.
How about Daniel Faraday?
Daniel Faraday, yeah.
Every sentence sounded like a question.
Yeah.
We need to go down to the beach.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
Exactly.
After season 3, though, it started to get dicey, and it never got better. In fact, it got worse and shittier. And it was like, oh, they don't know what they're doing.
Well, there was a writer's strike.
I can't blame that.
There was a writer's strike. During that writer's strike, what I heard was Damon Lindelof and J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
And
the
Sylvester
producers.
Stallone.
And Rocky Balboa.
And Ivan Koloff.
And Hakeem and Simi.
Exactly. They got together.
And Randy Watson.
And Randy Savage.
Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Randy.
How's that?
Savage.
Oh, a hybrid character.
I believe the children.
I believe the children are our future. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you something, brother.
Teach them well, let them lead the way, brother.
Doing a Randy Savage voice hurts so bad. Oh, yeah, Randy Watson.
Does it hurt so bad that it hurts so good?
Ow, fuck.
All right.
Hang on, let's
not follow through any tangent we just started.
Because we could go on for a
there's
while.
Nothing good there.
Where are we at now? An hour? Yep.
This is going to be a long episode, folks. Just strap in. Okay. Aurelian says, in 2006, I attended the German festival Rock am Ring. The lineup was amazing. Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, with a cameo from James on Wood, which I've seen that performance.
It's amazing. It's great.
Korn, Deftones, Placebo, Tool, Depeche Mode, and Metallica. I attended the Metallica show without any expectation, and I've been blown away by the band. There were so many good songs I'd never heard before. The show was flawless. I then discovered the back catalog and its gems. In 2012, I bought a ticket to see Soundgarden, close to my hometown in Luxembourg. The show was canceled because Metallica had asked Soundgarden to open for them at a one-day festival in Belgium.
Oh, Werchter. Werchter.
You've probably done that festival?
Twice, yeah. It's one of the best festivals in Europe.
Oh, twice.
Yeah, no big deal.
World Traveler.
No big deal, yeah.
He says, however, we were offered tickets for the festival. That time I was able to see the Black Album played in full and reverse. Yes. Unforgettable.
Great,
Fuck.
Great.
Metallica's done some cool shit in Europe.
Yeah, of course they have.
He goes on to say, listening to your podcast, I've already learned many things about the band, and I'm looking forward to future episodes. I love the chemistry between you two, and I want to point out how you are super understandable.
Are we?
For a non-native English speaker like me. Cheers from France, Aurelian.
Listen, man, you think we're understandable?
Boomhauer.
Well, I'll tell you what. Boomhauer. That's what I was about to go into. Well, I'll tell you something, man. That's the thing over there with that lawnmower, man. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. Yeah, it's not bad, man. Beer.
Boomhauer. One more email. Good God. The longest episode ever.
Where we are. Our last email is from Oliver.
I read it all like Turner Duckworth.
All right. What's up, brothers? Last time I wrote to you guys, I forgot to tell you that you have a faithful listener in Spain, New Jersey. Anyway.
Right.
I listened to your Rick Rubin episode, and I loved it. I really loved it. It was all right.
This Rick Rubin episode goes to 10.
As I do with
goes to 11.
This episode, the Rick Rubin goes to 11. And I loved it, as I do all your episodes, but I especially like the one, this one, because I feel like I read this better in a British accent.
Yeah, you definitely.
And I loved it as I do with all your episodes, but I especially like this one and the Bob Rock one because I have planned to move to Scotland and study music production. There are many Rick Rubin albums that have introduced me to the world of metal. So he is a very big influence on me.
I find that voice extremely soothing.
Cheers.
Tits up.
Where everybody knows your name. It really is kind of nice just reading that in a British accent.
Yes, I know.
I wonder if I should read. I think because a lot of times I stutter through emails. I stutter in general, but
You don't stutter in general. That's not true.
pay attention. Pay attention. But normally it's like I think I try to read ahead and I get kind of jumbled up. When I just read like this, it's like, "What's up, brothers? Last time I wrote you guys, I forgot to tell you that you have a faithful listener in Spain, New Jersey.
No stuttering.
And
This is like the King's Speech over it. This is like,
It's my therapy, I guess, right?
right,
Oh, this one's called Lick My Love Pump.
saddest of all keys.
D minor.
What do you say we skedaddle out of the old poetry corner?
Yeah, I think we should just like head down to the pub and just forget about the fucking emails.
Tits up.
Well, if you want me to forget about the emails, then I will.
Paul, if you want me to get in a limo, get out of the email corner, I'll do it. I'll do it to Paul.
Hey, this is Ethan and Clint from Metal Up Your Podcast, and we want to talk to you about something we love called Patreon.
That's right. Patreon is a way for fans of the show to give back to the show, to donate money that helps us in quality and content. And not only that, but we've actually come up with all sorts of fun incentives to give back to you for supporting the show.
Exactly. For instance, if you donate $5 or more, you get access to Cover Our World Blackened, which is the official Metal Up Your Podcast Metallica cover EP.
That's right, and that's the only way to get it. In addition to the EP, we also give you priority email access, meaning we'll read your email first on the show. We give you early access to Patreon-exclusive merchandise, Patreon-exclusive giveaways, and any other side projects Ethan and I might be involved in.
There's all sorts of things you can look at on there and you can donate to. Go check it out. Patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast. How do you spell that, Clint?
patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast. And if you really think about it, $5 a month for an entire year, that's really just like a cup of coffee a month. So go check it out. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Adios. All right. Hardwired Disc 3.
All right, so let's
jump
this.
in.
Yeah, so the third disc, as we said before, it was originally going to be this Riff Origins disc. And they had a press release, and I'm going to quote this press release.
Okay.
Because it kind of explains it better than we could sum it up. And this is, I imagine it's Lars. It was like on the website, but it sounds like Lars to me.
Well, I mean, he's
kind of the spokesperson, right?
Exactly, yeah.
He says, as we were in the 11th hour of wrapping up Hardwired, it dawned on us that we've never shared with you in any sort of cohesive, official manner the extensive covers we've worked on since Death Magnetic, which, Remember Tomorrow, goes all the way back to like 2009.
Yeah.
He says, while digging into the bonus options to complement the 12-song album with additional material, we realized none of our versions of these songs from our favorite and most respected artists have been readily available on our very own Blackened recordings. So, the thing about Riff Origins, someone recently emailed us and said, what do you think about the missing Riff Origins demos?
Right.
Because, Death Magnetic had Demo Magnetic.
Yes.
But they're doing these videos now that we've all seen. We're going to do a whole episode on this, of making ofs.
Right.
There's like a 2.5 hour documentary on the making of Death Magnetic and Hardwired.
Right.
And that's kind of the Riff Origins.
I mean, that's really what it is. Like, you watch those things and you see how it begins.
How it morphs.
It's Hetfield sitting there and like, I got this riff. Then Lars is sitting there going, maybe, I love that riff.
Yeah.
Maybe I can play this. Maybe play that next riff. Let's move that riff to here. It's their whole process. It's how James writes and Lars arranges.
Absolutely. And even how Lars helps with solos.
Yes.
And maybe people who don't know, but I can tell, like, it covers a large passage of time. Like, we're talking years.
Yeah.
Where they'll put together, like, let's say they put together Atlas Rise. Some of them, Lars has a full beard, and some of them he's clean shaven.
Right, exactly.
Meaning they're covering pre-production, them basically writing it and arranging it all the way through. They usually end it with James cutting a vocal,
yes,
which they do vocals last.
Right.
So they're covering the whole process.
Yeah.
So almost having, which how grateful are we that the Met
they document all that stuff,
because it's better than demos. It's better than James Hetfield farting out Hardwired with no lyrics in his hotel room. We're seeing it from start to finish,
right? With
great audio and great video,
right? I mean,
what other band does that?
I can't think of any.
Me neither.
But I mean, to me, I'd much rather see what you can find online, which is what you just described, rather than audio on a disc.
You can't see.
Sit in my car where it's just like riff. I messed up.
Meandery,
riff.
farty, stupid
Exactly,
shit. Where you're
like-
trying to work it out.
If I'm going to hear that kind of stuff, like a whole disc of riffs and ideas, I would much rather have a visual to go with it, which
Yeah.
we have.
Yep.
So to me, it's like this disc 3 is almost more necessary than what it originally was going to be.
I think we're very lucky they decided to make this disc 3. They kind of gathered up their official recordings, which ends up being 4.
Right.
But one's a big 10-minute medley.
Sure.
And then they took a really cool show.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put on the debut of track 1 of their new record.
I know.
So
awesome. I'll take it.
So tracks 5 through 13, as we've just intimated, as they say, was recorded live at the Rasputin Music in Berkeley for Record Store Day
Been there.
on April 16th, 2016. And they were the ambassadors of Record Store Day. Now, one of our early friendship moments was on Record Store Day in 2015,
Yeah.
where we had just met, actually on the Mayfield tour. The tour started with a weird secret Nashville show
Yes. Yeah.
in a loft somewhere.
It was in
Where was that?
Marathon Village,
Okay, right.
where Marathon Music Works is. Yeah.
And there
it
was
was
a-
in some loft or
It
whatever.
was like a weird. It was like a secret show, and it was cool. A bunch of our fans came, and me and you. Well, I didn't know you at the time, but me and Matthew and Paul met you at a bar right by. Was that a bar? Paul? Hold on. I'm going to be totally serious right now.
Okay.
Paul.
Thank you.
He's not here. He's not here.
He's not in my house right now. It's weird.
But it was a bar that it was some friends of yours or something in that bar.
No, that was the first time I've ever been there. Actually,
Okay.
it's called William Collier's. It's attached to a venue called Marathon Music Works.
It's back when we were smokers. We were smoking out there.
Back when we were smokers, 2 months ago.
Well, so that show happened. I met Ethan. We hit it off. We became fast friends.
Oh, yeah.
And then Record Store Day was coming up, and I was going on tour. Actually,
a couple weeks later, if that.
I think I was in town, but I was in line at.
You were about to leave town, though.
We were at the Groove, and I had to leave town that day.
I was at a place called Fond Object.
You were at Fun Objects
here
in
East Nashville.
Riverside Village.
Yes.
And I was texting you, and I was like, "Dude, we're like in line for like an hour. We're not going to make it."
Right. So for Record Store Day, if any of you guys who are audiophiles,
Which
vinyl
I have
nerds,
we should camp out in Record Store Day for a minute because that's how important it is.
it is important.
Yeah.
So in general, if you guys know Record Store Day, it's a big deal amongst vinyl nerds, and
It's about 6 years old.
it's been
not
going
old.
on for a little bit. Yeah, it's become this amazing thing, and they do it twice a year technically. The big one is in spring.
It's in April, yeah.
Yeah, the smaller one is during it's Black Friday essentially.
Right.
They do a big record store day there, record store day thing there. So Clint's texting me on Record Store Day. He's at the Groove, which is a great shop,
East Nashville.
great shop, and also in East Nashville is a place called Fond Object over near my house, and my address is
And my urine sample
come
is...
to my house. Anyway, so Fond Object is close to my house. I discovered that year. I decided to go to that shop first, Fond Object.
But like no one went there. No one knew or something.
It's a smaller record store, but I knew they were going to have the Metallica No Life to Let cassette.
Well, that was the big get. I needed that. I needed the Aguar reissue.
Right. Yeah.
America Must Be Destroyed or something.
So the reason I went there was because they opened earlier than...
Because I was hungover and it was right
Groove.
by my house.
Yeah. Now, if you are in East Nashville, if you go north of there to Madison, there's a place called The Great Escape.
Right. Great Escape.
They actually open, I believe, 3 hours earlier than any record store in Nashville. Most record store day events happen at like 10 a.m. They open doors.
And there are lines out the fucking
the line
block.
flows through. You
Like Grimey's is uninhabitable.
Grimey's I go to in the afternoon to watch the bands. I don't go there for records.
But the records that you want, because what bands do to Record Store Day is basically a huge movement to get people to go buy records at your local record store.
And we're talking records like LPs, vinyl. Not
Oh yeah,
just
we're
like,
talking vinyl.
Hey, we released this new download today.
Right, we're talking vinyl. But what they do though is they release very limited edition special shit where like, for someone like me, it'll be like Rufus Wainwright poses with a deluxe third 180 gram vinyl.
Right.
But there was only like 5 of them there.
Exactly.
So I'm calling Ethan. I'm in line at the Groove, like in an hour-long line. Where
I'm already in Fond Object,
and
like
I'm
collecting shit.
And I'm going, dude, please grab me whatever, the No Left
I
to
think I
Leather
grabbed you.
cassette
I think I grabbed you that and Guar.
and a Guar. And
Yeah.
you got me a Ryan Adams 7-inch.
That's right. Which is telling of, excuse me, telling of our friendship because I'm not a Ryan Adams fan.
I know.
And I was like, fine, I'll do it for Clint. We're only friends of 2 weeks, but I think I already love him.
Well, we ended up, I think because I had my kid in that line. I think we ended up just bailing on that line and just coming there. And I was so shocked to see that you could just walk in.
Yeah.
And you would, thank God, you would grab those for me because I think that 7-inch and maybe even the cassette were like the last couple.
Yeah, the last few. But when I got there, I think I got in line. Let's say they opened a little bit earlier. Let's say they opened at 9:00. I got there at like 8:15, thinking I'll be like the 50th person in line. I got there and I was like number 10.
Yeah.
And my immediate thought was like, oh my gosh, like people
buy everything in here.
People don't realize that this shop has all of the
special
releases
yeah.
and no one's here. It was awesome. The next year was the same way. Oh. It was awesome. So yeah, Clint was him and I were texting, and then by the time I was in there, like, hey dude, I see all the shit you want. I've got it. And he was like, I'm bailing on this place.
Yeah, we split.
Yeah, so Clint came over to Fond Object, met me. I charged him interest, of course, because, it's my time.
$1 million.
It's my time.
Well, I guess the whole point of that is Ethan and I are vinyl lovers, and you can. I think we both have a Discogs. Are you on Discogs?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's discogs.com. And it's a way to you can track your own collection. You can see other people's collections. I know our friend Alex Finney, who's a patron of the show. He sells shit on Discogs.
Yeah. You can get real deep on Discogs. I mean, to the point where
it's a rabbit hole. You can go deep on all this.
You can do buy, sell, trade. I mean, I've bought stuff off there, like rare pressings of whatever from Japan, or like one of my favorite bands is called The Living End. And there's one record that I at one point didn't think was even pressed on vinyl, and I found it on Discogs, and I bought one from Japan. It's that nerdy.
Well, same deal for me, but way less cool. There's a late 90s live record called The Distance to Here.
Okay.
And for those of you who know about vinyl, the 90s were a very wasteland era because CDs were king and they just didn't press vinyl.
Right.
But one of my favorite, I'm a huge fan of the band Live. And they made a record called The Distance to Here, and that was on my watch list. I ended up finding it. It was some kind of Japanese or European
placenta
thing.
falls to the floor.
Yeah, well, that's Lightning Crashes. That's from Throwing Copper. I'm talking about,
I
can
sent
you
you
hear the dolphins cry? See the earth rise up to me.
Do you remember, I think 2 summers ago, I was still out with Kings, and I was at a festival in Europe, and I was watching live from Side Stage, and I texted you and Paul.
But was it with Ed Kowalczyk, or was it with the other lead singer?
No, it was like an OG dude.
Oh, yeah, Ed Kowalczyk, yeah.
I
do remember that. You were in Europe, right?
Yeah.
I was probably blowing you up fuck.
It was the same day. I watched them. I watched Prophets of Rage that day. It was a great day at a festival. It was awesome.
And then you do
Below, yes. No, I did not do Below.
The band Jimmy Eat World. Were they there?
Yep.
Yep. I remember that.
Yep.
Was that 2 years ago?
I think 2 years ago, yeah. It's all a blur these days.
All right, Christ. Let me try to wrap this up. So the point is...
So that was Hardwired, Disc 3.
The point is, for Metallica to be ambassadors of Record Store Day, it hits home for me in terms of the heroism of them, just tracing the thread of them being heroes my whole life, because they're basically advocating for people buying physical media.
Yeah. It's really like an old school way of just saying, look, this is how it all started. You should buy this format because it's so cool.
And there's something getting lost in the sort of digital marketplace where it's nice. There are algorithms now that will analyze what you listen to, and they'll curate for you, oh, hey, if you like Courtney Barnett and Nico Case and Jesse Balin, you might like these records.
Right, yeah.
And in some ways, that's more incisive than anything.
Sure.
But what you're missing is walking to a record store, feeling like most music lovers, kind of isolated and like an outcast, and then sort of finding your people and finding a record store that you trust and having these people physically face to face and even putting headphones on your head against your will.
Listening stations.
Listen to this. Curating for you a musical experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so important and it's getting lost. You and I both are very lucky to travel for a living where we can go visit all these places. My current band, we go to a record store every fucking day we're on the road. We find it. We Uber to it or we take a runner.
Fun, yeah. Flip through records. It's so awesome.
What's really cool is on Metallica.com, you can go to this when they're, it's kind of, I don't know where I found this on their website, but when they're ambassadors, they all did these individual videos, right? So I kind of broke this down. So,
and real quick, by the way, the ambassador thing.
Yes.
so the people that started Record Store Day and maintain that, every year they appoint some artist as ambassador. One year was Jack White.
To be a spokesperson for...
Exactly. They're basically, they tell them, hey, we want you to be ambassadors of Record Store Day. Great. So that person maybe feels responsible, like, I need to do something special.
Right.
Of course Jack White's going to. He's a big vinyl nerd.
Right.
But Metallica is straight up like, all right, cool. We're going to release this. We're going to do a in-store performance at Rasputin in Berkeley, which
I can't wait to get to that.
I've been to.
I've never been there.
I've been to that store numerous times. My wife is from Oakland, the Oakland area.
Yeah.
And I've gone to that Berkeley shop.
Which is where Berkeley.
Yeah, Berkeley, Oakland. It's all in the East Bay area.
Yeah.
And so I've been in that record shop. I've bought vinyl from there.
I would say they went above and beyond. I mean, they...
For sure. Oh, yeah.
And what I love is you can see these kind of like... These are basically testimonials, and all 4 dudes did this. So James's, he talks about the first record he bought was a 7-inch of Sweet Home Alabama, which I love that. It reminded me of Cliff. It reminded me that even these Southern California soon-to-be metal gods were tapped into this Gainesville, Florida. Like, for those of you who aren't hip to Lynyrd Skynyrd, fucking deal with the fact that that's one of the greatest rock bands of all time.
Sure, of course.
Great songwriters, great guitar players. Another thing that James says that I think is very important that I've felt my whole life is he talks about how he holds up the first Iron Maiden record, which is just like, it's just that Eddie character, like in front of a brick wall or something. Yep. And he talks about, like, I bought this record, I didn't know anything about it, I didn't know how it sounded, but he's holding the cover and he's like, how could you not buy this?
The cover is amazing.
And I love the energy of that, of like, I've bought records that way, whether it was the title or the cover art, where I just thought, I'm definitely taking a chance on this because it's so badass.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess the intrinsic idea there is that, like, the artwork can be as powerful as the music.
It totally can.
You talk about something like Master of Puppets, right? Mm-hmm. Where you talked about, you saw the one video.
Yep.
Or maybe you even had Justice.
No, I hadn't had Justice yet.
So your way of going back was, I'm going to buy the one album that just speaks to me through the artwork, and that was Puppets.
I saw the one video and then went to a record store. And then now this is also like maybe a year later. Saw the one video. I mean, at that point, I was like pretty young.
You were like 32. And...
I was 34. And but yeah, I saw the one video, but it was one of those things that was like, I can't tell my parents about this kind of music.
No.
This is terrifying.
It's not going to fly, yeah.
Right. They were cool with like, oh, Bon Jovi, I'll be
safe.
there. I'll be there for you. Sure.
Run away. It's fine.
Yeah.
Are you talking about, are you kidding me? I'll be there for you. These 5 words I swear to you. When you breathe, I want to be the air for you. And fucking I'll be there for you. I'll live and I'll die for you.
Be the sun
in the sky for you.
Words can't say what I want. Love can't do. I'll be there for you.
Oh my God. Is this
Whoa. Whoa. Oh my gosh.
I think my penis just fell off into the floor, which is fine.
Mine is still hitting this. I'm so excited right now.
Oh my
about this
God.
song.
We just did I'll Be There For You.
We did.
The whole chorus.
Beautiful chorus.
It felt kind of like we should have been in like a mid-90s skating rink doing like a couple skate. Didn't it kind of feel like that?
By the way, I'm not even a side note. As a matter of fact, I would be so down.
I've got some inline skates right back here.
My rollerblades are right over there. If you and your wife and your kid were ever like, hey, we're going to the Brentwood Skate Center here in Nashville.
I'm not going to have to pull your leg.
Do you guys want to come? I would call.
Like
Clint.
immediately, it's like, you're like knocking on the door. I've been waiting for you to ask.
I'm already here.
I've been waiting for you to ask.
Honestly, I would be like, yes, we're going, first of all. And second of all, we're going up to whoever's in charge of the music. Can you put on I'll Be There For You by Bon Jovi for a couple skate? I have to skate with my co-host.
And kind of the ass out, like long arm.
Or just holding hands and just swaying back and forth.
Man, I'm in.
I'm so in.
Dude, I'm in.
Maybe a Metal Up Your Podcast roller skating rink party. Maybe that's where we do the pre-party.
We were just talking the pre-party for the Nashville
Foo
show.
Bar could be cool, but what about a roller skating rink? We roller skate to Metallica and that one song.
It's not Foo Bar. It's Cobra.
I still call it Foo Bar.
Do they dig that?
They probably don't dig that. It used to be called Foo Bar.
Ethan and I were just talking. There's so many
Cobra.
people that have committed to coming to our pre-Nashville party in January of 2019. We might have to move the venue to a bigger spot.
Well,
the skating rink might be fucking awesome.
Well, the only problem moving venues is that Metallica's probably loading in that night before, so we can't do Bridgestone Arena.
We can't do the 20,000 seat
Exactly.
spot. Yeah.
Well, maybe the stadium will be free.
It's Vanderbilt Stadium.
It's football stadium, football season, so who knows?
Oh, crap. I guess we'll have to do just a slightly bigger club than Kroger.
Fairgrounds, I guess. I don't know. Anyways,
All right, so
where were we? Bon Jovi.
So they do a James montage, and I did like that because James is like, sometimes you buy records because they look cool, which I think is important.
Yeah.
There's a spirit of that I think is important.
Yeah. Oh, I never finished that. I loved one. Took some time, and then I felt confident enough to buy a record, and I was scrolling through the Metallica section at the Warehouse in California, and I saw Injustice for All. Before I realized one was on that, I scrolled and saw Master of Puppets, and the artwork, I was like, that's the one I need. And it was the long box CD.
Yep.
It's fucking awesome.
And how cool is it that, like, you sort of randomly chose probably the greatest pound for pound thrash metal
I didn't know at the time.
ever made.
I had no idea at the time.
Yeah.
I knew one, and that was it.
That's why this band is so amazing.
I know, right?
So the next video is I now love, this is probably my favorite of the four. It's Rob Trujillo and his son Ty. And I love, like,
Bass player of Korn.
yeah, that's a fact. A once bass player of Korn for one tour.
Yeah.
I love just as a dad seeing how Robert as a dad is trying to bring Ty into it, because Ty's kind of being a shy 11-year-old.
Yeah.
So they're talking about their love for vinyl, how historic it is. And Rob talks about how there's so much energy in all the works of art, meaning what we were saying earlier, not just the music, but the layout, the artwork, so much love.
It's a whole package, yeah.
There's so many records that the imagery of the artwork is just, you can't separate it from the record.
Right, yeah.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic for me is one.
Oh, yeah.
Nirvana Nevermind.
Absolutely.
For me, like Pearl Jam, well, many of their records, but
Really,
like
the first three for me was like
Vitology and Versus
Ten
Intent.
Versus Intent, yeah.
Ten,
I mean,
them
it
all
was-
putting their hands up.
Yeah.
What else is there? The creepy first Black Sabbath record.
A ton. Seasons of the Abyss by Slayer for me.
Yep. Def Leppard High and Dry with the diving into the empty pool.
Yes. There's so many records out there that, like, pre-download era.
Where all you had to do was look at that. You just looked at that. Dude, the Guns N' Roses Appetite of the Cross with the fucking five guys.
Yes.
And I would just look at it and go, that's Izzy, that's Axl,
Right.
/ Duff.
Even the original pressing with that very graphic illustration of what is a rape scene.
Yeah,
But it
well, that
turned
was
out-
like a piece of art. Yeah,
it turned
that
out to be an
robot.
anti-rape thing.
Right.
I have both covers on vinyl.
Right.
I have the original and the censored cover.
Yep.
I mean, not to get too glammy, but like,
Don't talk about Poison. Are you going to do Poison?
yes. I only bring it up because of vinyl and artwork. Open up and say, ah. That was Clint falling asleep, by the way.
That was me
Open up and say,
snoring.
this is how crazy how like censorship was back then too. The original cover
Smell the Glove.
was a dude with like big glammy hair and a tongue that was literally like 8 inches long.
Oh, it was a Kiss record.
And that's it. Right. It was basically Gene Simmons. And that was like banned and they had to censor it. But I remember getting that when I was young, like before I got into Metallica and stuff. Like glam rock was somewhat safe for some reason. Like, why did my mom think that like Bon Jovi and Poison and Rat and Cinderella were okay? But no, not Metallica.
Right.
Not the guys that are just scarier looking.
Right.
Oh no, you can listen to the guys that are basically like doing the most debaucherous shit on the
Right.
planet.
It's like the glammy, stupid shit was more acceptable, but yet
It
more
seems safer,
but more
maybe?
debaucherous. Whereas Metallica looked scarier and maybe sounded scarier. But I think the lyrical themes of Metallica records make people better people.
I think so too. I also think that like
The futility of war, Dyer's Eve, the meaninglessness of beliefs that distort and pervert reality.
Right.
Blackened about the conscientious about the environment.
Right.
These songs actually Disposable Heroes about the meaninglessness of sending young people off
Yeah.
to die. These are good values.
they're good values. I think back in the day, like my parents were probably like, "That's super dark." Not even lyrically speaking, just the imagery.
The
and
Cure
the
was
sound.
probably darker than that.
Probably,
lyrically.
but even just so, imagine being a parent and like back in the late '80s, and your kids like check out Injustice for All, and your parent listens to it, all they probably think about is like they sound evil and it sounds fucking dark.
Yeah.
Then you listen to Poison, and you're like, oh, it's fun.
Talk dirty to me, down it, down it.
Exactly. It's super fun, goofy music at the end of the day. It's party music. So all that to say, that's episode 78,000.
Well, Rob goes through some of his favorite records, which I like. He does a picture disc of No Mercy. He does Motorhead, Ace of Spades, Weather Report, Rick James, Master of Puppets. First of all, I love that he has Rick James in there.
Oh, yeah.
Robert's a diverse cat. I think they all are.
Very.
But I do love that he intentionally highlights Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
And even says to Ty, he's like, Ty's a bass player.
Right.
This is pre-Korn days. And he's like, who's that? And he points to Cliff Burton. And Ty's like, that's Cliff Burton. And Robert's like, he's the man,
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
any other bass player maybe, other than Newstead, but any other guy that got that gig that was kind of doing that kind of like, Cliff's the man, right? It might come off as like forced or like aggrandizing or shitty.
Right.
But when Rob does it, it feels very pure. Like,
it does, yeah. He's a fan.
He's a fan.
Total fan. Fan of music, fan of Metallica. I mean,
and he seems so grateful still all these years later to have the gig.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would.
Didn't you feel that way on the Worldwide tour when he would do Anesthesia?
Yep.
And we would just...
I felt like he was up there like...
My jaw was open, dude.
The second he started playing Anesthesia and like a montage of Cliff came up...
Oh, my God.
You know that Robert was just like playing that part on bass, probably eyes shut, just like...
Yeah.
I'm honoring what I grew up listening to.
And he played it note for note in a sense of where you knew that's what it was.
Yeah.
But he also took his own liberties with it too.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Explored it.
Yeah.
Which is what Cliff never
That's
played.
what Cliff would have done.
Cliff never played it the same way twice.
Nope.
Not a single fucking time.
Exactly.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
all right, then
too.
we get to Lars. Now Lars talks about how his dad, Torben, who we know,
I would take him to record stores.
would take him to the Bristol Music Center, and he says Torben would go upstairs where the jazz records were, but then Lars would go down to the basement where the heavy metal was.
My dad did the same thing with me when I was younger. He took me to. This is actually a good quick story. So when I was,
it doesn't have to be quick. This could be a 4-hour episode. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care. So when I was pretty immersed in metal at this point, I was probably like 6th, 7th grade. Getting into stuff, my dad and my mom got a little bit concerned. Like, you're listening to some weird stuff.
I had some of that too.
So we were a church-going family, and my dad said, let's go to the Christian music store, or Christian bookstore, with they sold CDs and stuff, and cassettes. And he's like, maybe you can find something like there that's like the same style, but Christian.
Here's Amy Grant.
And I was like, Dad, that fucking sucks. So, Amy Grant's awesome. She's a great voice.
Great voice, good songwriter.
Married to
Charlie Peacock.
one of the best people in the world.
Well, Vince Gill.
Vince Gill, come on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, he's the godfather of Nashville.
That's right. So we go to this Christian music store.
You know Vince Gill's in the Eagles now?
Yeah, the Eagles. They're like, yeah, Glenn Frey's gone.
Who
What
could
should
we
we
get?
do?
Oh, one of the best guys ever?
Oh, Vince Gill, one of the best guitar players and singers ever. Smoothest voice. Oh.
Fuck. Anyway, all right, yeah.
So we go to this place. I'm pretty sure it was a place in Mission Viejo called Sunshine Books. Of course it was, right?
Well, was it spelled S-O-N, Shine? Like
Probably.
the son of
I don't
God?
remember, but it might have been a normal sun, but maybe not.
Oh, normal, like the sun god. That sounds pagan. That's probably not it.
Probably not.
Sunshine.
S-O-N. Anyway, so my dad walks in. He's looking for, like the latest.
Like Michael McDonald record or something?
Sure. Sounds good.
Or what would that have been? Keith Green?
Keith Green, something like that. So I remember going there, and there was a section that was like rock alternative metal. That was all it said. There wasn't like a punk rock section.
What was in that?
Section.
Striper, Petra?
I already knew about those bands at the time, and I knew that I didn't like it because I was already past the like high pitched singing. Striper to me, I didn't care. I was like, no, that's not.
They
Petra
were
was
a
dumb.
legitimate 80s band. Like
They were kind of. Oh, at one point they were huge in the 80s.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Throwing out Bibles and shit.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And so I go to this section, and I'm just looking for like the most evil cover I can find.
Yes, love it.
Now I wasn't like this like satanic kid like looking
None
for
of
evil.
us were, but we love the most evil shit.
Exactly. Like I was a good Christian boy. I went to church.
Yeah.
But I was looking for something that looked similar to
You're looking for
Metallica
something
and
with an edge.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
so I find Vengeance Rising, which is they're basically like a death metal band, but Christian.
Okay.
And it's straight up like,
Okay.
like
yeah, death metal.
yeah, a band called Deliverance, which to me sounded like an equivalent to Anthrax. Heavy, cool riffs, but high pitched singing. I got those two records. I think, God, I'm trying to remember the name of them. The Deliverance one was called Weapons of Our Warfare. The Vengeance
Cool
one,
title.
Fuck, I can't remember the name of it, but it was so good. It said Vengeance Rising, and it had a chain that was broken in half. That was all I remember. But I remember my dad, like we were done at Sunshine Books, and we go to the register, and he's like, "Did you find some stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I found two things I like. I got them on cassette, by the way." We get in the car, and my dad's like, "You want to put it on?" I was like, and I remember they had listening stations, and I remember listening to it, going like, "Oh my God, this is like Christian rock music, Christian metal. They're singing about God." It didn't sound like that at all.
No, I mean, I'll take this opportunity to say this because we're kind of in this territory. I was highly religious for about 10 years, from 17 to 25,
Right, yeah.
26. And I was still the same music lover, a Metallica fan, loved heavy
Sure,
music.
yeah.
And I still to this day am a fan of Stavesacre.
Oh, great, yeah. Know all those dudes.
I would say the record to check out from Stavesacre is called Speakeasy,
Awesome record.
which they made a lot of records, but I still listen to Absolution and or Absolutes and Friction.
Yeah,
But
Speakeasy
Speakeasy my shit.
great record.
Project 86 made a record called Truthless Heroes that I think is fucking dope. Yeah, it was weird. There was a weird time in like 2000 to 2010 where there's a lot of great hard music that was religious.
I mean,
that you would never
I would say
know.
that. I mean, way before that too. I mean,
Oh well, yeah, maybe.
I mean,
so.
okay. So speaking of
Well, we've got Friends in Living Sacrifice. That was a cool band.
Totally.
Our friends
Living
Bruce,
Sacrifice. I mean,
which we're gonna have Bruce on the show.
Yeah,
Dude,
Bruce.
I ran into Bruce at a bar recently.
You did? Nice.
Yeah, I did.
Bruce is one of the best people I've ever met. He's such a nice dude. I've talked to him numerous times about being on the
He tried
show.
to sell me heroin.
He's been doing that lately. It's so weird. Living Sacrifice is one of those bands that when you listen to them, you could put them on a show with Slayer and Anthrax and fucking Megadeth.
No, they're heavy. They were heavy.
Still heavy. I mean, they're not.
Well, they play like a few shows a year.
Yeah, they're not insanely active, but like they still play shows, and like those dudes, Lance, their drummer, is a fucking badass. That dude, I'm not sure how old he is exactly. Let's just say
We'll say he's 21.
He's 21 and a half.
Okay.
So he's probably, let's say he's in his late 40s. Just say. That dude still hits the drums harder than I could ever do on my best day. He's a fucking boss, dude. It's crazy. We'll have Bruce on. We'll play some Living Sacrifice songs. You guys will know what we're talking about.
All right. So you were saying your dad took you to a music store and
We put it on the car, and he was like, I could tell, even as a young kid, he was like, okay, I hate this 100%, but it's a Christian band. My son picked it out. We can listen to it. And it was like a 5-minute drive to my house. So that was like 25% of one Vengeance Rising song. But that was my first introduction to like, oh, there's like other beliefs.
yeah.
And you can write music about it.
Oh, totally. Well, and that yeah. I mean, God, we're
And
already,
it didn't. And I'll say this:
it didn't impinge on your faith at all, right?
no, not at all.
Right.
And it also never, at one point, maybe want to like destroy all my like secular CDs.
Well, I would say, and by the way, like this is just Tangent City, and I don't care.
This is a tangent episode.
Tom Araya, the lead singer of Slayer, is a Catholic, and it's
He is.
widely known that Jeff Henneman, who I believe was the heart and soul of Slayer, and Kerry King write all the music and lyrics.
Right. Yeah.
And Kerry King is obviously a very angry, I would submit to you, not super intelligent, atheist guy.
Daddy issues.
Lots of issues. But Tom Araya sings them right, and he's able to separate it all. And I think that what music does for people, you or me, an atheist, a religious person, Paul Moak, who's also a religious person, Matthew Mayfield, who's a religious, Brad Lyons, who's not religious, it just bridges all those gaps. It doesn't matter anymore because it's a universal language. I think what we all mostly care about is being good and finding our way.
Of course.
We want to make sure our friendships are robust, that our marriages and relationships with
spouses and shit are good and true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're all on the same road to that. And I think what maybe militant atheism and maybe like fundamentalist religion tries to do is like, we're in a tribe, we're on a team, and nary the two shall meet.
Right, yeah.
And what music does, it breaks all that down. We're like,
it really does,
that doesn't make any sense to me,
right,
because I would happily go to a Stave Saker show and fucking rock out with religious people.
Oh, you would rock out.
Well, I have in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
With Coca-Cola. Or you, which I know you're a Slayer fan, you're going to go see them on their farewell tour.
Sure, yeah.
They're going to be singing about the stupidest satanic
Angel of
shit.
Death, and
And you don't give a fuck.
No,
it's not going to.
I'm not sitting there.
You're not learning your life philosophy from Kerry King lyrics.
Fuck no.
Nor am I learning
I might be learning my like chain hanging philosophy off my pants from him.
Your porcupine, but nor am I learning my true life philosophy from someone like Bono.
Right.
Who is a hero of mine.
Sure.
But who is also like an evangelical religious person.
He is, yeah.
No problem. Like, we diverge on certain issues. The music's still fucking dope. And the biggest messages from that music are I glean and learn from and apply.
Yeah, of course, yeah. The only kind of music that I would ever be like, even if musically, not lyrically, was really great, the only kind of music that I would be like, I'm not fucking listening to that, if it was like reggae and ska and dub and rocksteady.
Some of the music you love the most.
Exactly. No, but I mean, if I ever was turned on to a band that was musically fucking amazing, but then I like read the lyrics and it was just a bunch of hate speech.
No,
I'd be like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not down with that.
Nope, I agree.
Some stuff like you brought up Slayer. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, okay, if Tom Araya is in this band and he's been in this band since day one,
and he's a singer,
singing these lyrics, but he's also like a devout Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to find it. I can post it to our Twitter account at some point once I find it. There's a video I found a long time ago where it's like Kerry King and Tom Araya talking about whatever current Slayer record, talking about like lyrical content, and Tom Araya can't stop laughing. It's almost like a joke to him, or like, not a joke. I'm sure he takes it serious, but it's almost like it's just an act. This is what we do. It's like, it might as well be the same thing if we're just like, it's a random job we have. Like, yeah, I don't believe in what the whole company believes in, but it's just a job. It's fun. I want to entertain people, and I want to be there for people, and I want people to have a good reaction and a good time with the show. If you believe the lyrics, great. If you don't, I don't care. This is fun.
Well, it's theater. For Slayer, it's
theatrical.
It's theater.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, Tom is right. Like, Slayer lyrics are funny. And I don't even know if Kerry King means to write them that way.
Right.
But they are, I hate to use this blunt of language, they are stupid. And they're hilarious. But they are brutal.
Yes.
And it matches their music.
It does, yeah.
And we're all lucky that we have Tom, who, despite his philosophical differences with what he's singing, I guess for whatever reason, Tom can't write lyrics. So Kerry's the guy.
I mean,
Kerry's one of the...
Geddy Lee didn't write most lyrics.
But Neil Peart is like a fucking philosopher.
He is, but he's not a singer.
Not a singer, but
he wrote all his lyrics.
But Neil Peart Neil Peart lyrics are kind of like Dungeons and Dragons type.
What do you mean, Bytor and the Snow Dog? Oh, like that one?
Exactly.
Bytor and the Snow Dog.
Neil Peart's lyrics are the strange blend of like really great like woodland poetry, and then but also
I kind of want to camp out at Bytor and the Snow Dog for a second. Bytor and the Snow Dog.
It's like medieval woodsy.
Yeah,
gallant poetry.
Oh, geez. I remember a couple of years ago when we had a decent snow in Nashville, which doesn't happen often.
My friend Kevin, whose favorite band is Rush, is going to love this convo.
I hope so. What's up, Kevin? A couple of years ago when we had a decent snow in Nashville, which isn't often.
A decent by snow in the tawdry.
Wait for it.
What are they?
So I think I took a picture of two of my three dogs like running in the snow. and I took a picture and posted on Instagram, and my caption just said, "By Tor and the Snow Dog." And let's just say there was like 10 comments. Let's be generous and say there's 20 comments. One of them was like, "Fuck yeah, Rush." Everyone else was like, "Pretty snow, cute dogs. Love your yard."
I love they just totally ignored By Tord in this.
I thought I was being clever. I was like, I've liked Rush for a long time. I went through a thick Rush phase for about 2 years.
Yeah.
It was my first arena show ever. First arena show I ever saw was Rush with Candlebox opening.
I will say.
Please say it.
I recently watched that documentary on Netflix.
The Rush one?
And it fucking blew my mind.
It's great.
And our drummer Kevin, who I just mentioned, he's helping me sort of find my way through it. And it does very much feel to me like a band that like I've got a lot of time to explore the fridge and all the sauce, and I think it's going to happen to me. But
what do you mean, a phase?
I think that I might fall into the hole somewhere. I'm kind of avoiding it because I know it's going to.
I will say that Rush is probably either the most gigantic refrigerator, or let's just say this: imagine when you're on tour and you pull off in some little podunk town in between two shows.
Oh, I've only done that.
Off.
I've only done that 7 million times.
I've only done it 7.2 million times.
Yeah, a little older than me. I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. Anyways, there's like chains of buffets all over the country. You might find one buffet it's like a Las Vegas buffet. That's what Rush is.
You got Golden Corral, you got Cece's Pizza.
Sure, those are all like most bands. Rush is like the most gigantic Vegas buffet you can find.
Is it the Mar-a-Lago of?
No, because then it would be
terrible poison.
It would be all false and fake news and stuff.
Yeah,
they're the real deal. Find the biggest buffet in Vegas you can find, with endless options of food from all over the world. All influences.
Zamunda?
Culinarily speaking.
Is Zamunda represented?
It probably is.
Okay.
Where do you think the Snow Dog's from?
Probably Zamunda from Africa.
Exactly. A lot of snow down there. Not really.
But the point we're making back to Slayer is like...
Wait, we're talking about Metallica still?
No. Well, we're talking about music.
Music, yeah.
I guess the idea is you're saying is like... What you were trying to get into... You were looking for something darker. For whatever reason. Now,
sure, yeah.
you could.
I was looking for something that compared to Slayer and Metallica and Anthrax and Megadeth and Iron Maiden and this and that.
Which I think most people who are embroiled in like who believe you can only listen to Christian music, they got to find versions of all that, right?
It's an unfortunate thing in the Christian music world where
there's like parodies of that.
Yeah,
or
it sucks. Like so, me and Paul Moak were just joking about this last week.
Paul. Wait. Hold on, seriously. For real. I'm not kidding.
Pablo?
Paul?
No, he's still not here.
He's not here.
Weird.
Shit.
That was an unfortunate but common thing in the Christian music world was if you like this band, you're going to love this.
Here's a Christian version of the secular thing.
Exactly.
Whereas the enlightened path is I can still believe what I believe.
But this is just good.
But instead of listening to some sort of fucked out, watered down version of Slayer,
yeah,
I can just listen to Slayer,
sure,
and get the fucking pure. Because no one does Slayer like Slayer. There's no substitute for Slayer.
No, not at all.
I mean, really, like,
and I will say, of all the big four, there's no substitute for any of them. There are somewhat similar artists. To me, like the band Deliverance, which is a Christian metal band, back in the day. That was the closest thing I could find to Anthrax. And the only comparison was cool, heavy riffs, high-pitched vocals.
Yeah, but the song's got to be good.
The song's got to be good. Exactly.
That's why Metallica, for me, I had the same deal. I was very religious for a long time. And had a lot of friends of mine who were very, very smart people.
Right.
Who, on their journey of truth, were compelled to get rid of all of their non-Christian records.
Yeah, I never did that.
I
remember asking my dad about it, like, is this something you're going to make me do? He was like, no. My dad turned me on to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles And my dad was and to this day is still like a very hardcore Christian. And, when we talk, tells me he's praying for me and all this stuff.
That's nice. Yeah, that's cool.
He's the same guy that will go buy the latest Amy Grant record.
Right.
But he'll also be like, man, have you listened to that old Freddie King record lately? Or that old Led Zeppelin record or whatever? He'll name all these bands. When he came to visit me last year when I was with Kings, I did a show at the Forum in L.A., and my dad came to the show, and first thing he said when he walked in the building was, man, last time I was here, I watched Hendrix play. And he's still talking the whole night.
And God struck it down with lightning.
And set his guitar on fire.
I just never saw anything exclusive about believing in something sacred and liking great music. To me, it always kind of felt like part of the same ether.
Right. Well, and for me, as someone who believed in God, like, I never felt guilty about listening to quote unquote secular music. It wasn't something that I was like, God, I really feel bad for this. Even Slayer, who is like on paper, like, oh, this satanic band. I don't think any of those guys in that band are Satanists. Maybe Kerry King.
Unlikely.
Unlikely, but let's just say he is.
It's very unlikely, but sure.
Yeah. Dave Lombardo, no.
There are people who
Tom
might think
Araya,
I'm a Satanist.
Catholic.
Of course not. Yeah, Jeff Hanneman couldn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
He liked being with his family and being quiet and drinking Heineken.
And your drink of choice tonight, Jägermeister. Didn't he have a Jägermeister guitar?
He had a Heineken guitar.
Heineken guitar, that's what it was.
Well, and they wrote Hanneman.
That's right.
So they do a whole tribute with their show now where they have a whole like banner, like a back flag.
Right, yeah.
It's a Heineken logo, but it's Hanneman. Okay.
Anyways, back to...
How long is this episode so far?
Where are we at? Right now we're pushing 2 hours.
This is going to be a long one, folks.
This is also pre-editing. This is just the raw shit.
It's going to be long.
And you know what, guys? You're welcome. You're welcome.
I expect the singing telegram, thank you telegram, promptly.
I'll be there for you.
These 5 words I smear on you.
When you bleed.
I want to be the Frigidaire for you.
I'll bleed all over you. How about a track by track?
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Track by track. I don't need to put a marker there.
Now,
there's this space.
They lead off with what we talked about at the beginning of the episode. In my opinion, the most important song on the record.
Easily.
Not the only good song. I mean, this record is
good.
Of course. We are very lucky to have this disc instead of a bunch of fucking loose demos.
I would much rather have this
for sure
than just like, oh, here's 3 minutes of random Hetfield riffs. As much as I would like to hear that, it's not something that I would get in the car and be like, let's put on disc 3.
No, I think riff origins or demos are fun when you already know the material and you want to hear like, oh, what did it start out as?
Right.
That's a 1 or 2 time listen.
Of course, yeah.
When I heard, if you guys remember our, we did a top 10 covers episode.
Yeah.
And When a Blind Man Cries, I think was my number 2.
It was up
now,
there.
I only heard, like, I'm not buying a Deep Purple tribute record. I'm not buying a Ronnie James Dio tribute record. I'm not buying Maiden in Heaven. So for me, I didn't hear these songs until, and anyway, we read before, that's why they put them on. They didn't have like a place for this. So the track by track, we start with Lords of Summer, working title, X Dust, which that's a pretty fun title for like Lunar Satan.
That would be a good Lunar Satan track.
X Dust. Like, what does that mean?
X Dust. What was it like when it was just dust?
I know sometimes they sort of explain why, like Chi Town Militia, they demoed it in Chicago, not China.
Well, you and I've talked about this too. Like, this is something that when you write a song, if you don't have a title for it, you create a working title.
Yes, but I like to know the origins of that.
Right.
Why did you call it that? Like,
I don't go that in depth with my demos. I usually title it, most recently, like Reggae Idea.
7
Dallas, Texas, and then the date.
Me too.
That's not intriguing. That's not nearly as intriguing as X Dust.
I know.
Maybe I should change that.
Well, that sounds to
this
me
was
like
called Sacramento Water.
To me, it sounds as exhausting and non-rewarding as just naming it anything.
Right. Yeah.
Calling it like Song Idea 1. Like having to come up with a cool title is like almost like naming it, but you don't even get to keep
Well,
that
for them,
title.
it's probably like whoever wrote the main riff or the origin of it enough to where it became a potential contender for a new song. That's who probably named it.
Well, like All Nightmare Long, for example.
Yeah.
To your point a little bit.
Yeah.
That song started because Robert was playing flamenco style on an acoustic guitar in the control room of HQ.
Right.
And the working title was flamenco.
Yeah.
But
Well, that day they probably made some progress on that idea of
Totally.
All Night Long. Let's call it flamenco so that we'll remember that that's the one.
But shit like Tin Shot and Riff Charge and these are some very creative working titles.
They're very creative, but I would still think that, like, especially Hetfield, like writing some of the best riffs of all time in metal, something about Riff Charge, like that, something that day happened, or something that he wrote reminded him of the word charge, whatever, that he decided, I'm going to call that Riff Charge because that one's good. That's my assumption. Maybe he's just making it up off the top of his head. He's like, that's a cool riff.
We'll add this to the long list of things we're going to ask the boys when we finally do get them in HQ.
My God, in my house. If
Well,
the boys ever come here, it'll be, if they're cool with it, be like a 10-part episode.
Would we do would we flip a coin for HQ 1 or 2?
Honestly, I think the most appropriate place to do a full
HQ4.
interview, HQ4, Paul
For sure.
Moog Studio.
Paul, you hear this?
Paul? Listen.
Hold on. I just want to see if he's really... I know we're joking. We do this whole joke a lot. I just want to see if he's really...
Let's find out.
Paul!
No, he's not here.
Paul!
He's not here.
Fuck, he really isn't here.
I was hoping for some footsteps, just like... Actually, I was hoping for...
I was hoping to hear the sound of dreads moving through the air.
That would sound like... King, 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 run, king, king, king. Rastafari. HQ4 would be the perfect place to interview the almighty Metallica. Hands down. And we wouldn't do it in the side room we do it in where we're listening to vinyl and stuff. We would do it in the tracking room.
Main room, tracking room.
It would be like it would be like when Lars did Last Electric with like Michael Wagner and then Fleming. You'd be in a big room.
Or
with
when they did the Taylor Hawkins, Dave Grohl thing with...
Taylor Hawkins, Steven's brother. Hawkins. Dude, I don't care. You don't like Foo Fighters. I'm just trying to tell you that that's his name.
I like Foo Fighters.
I'm just teasing.
Dude, My Hero came on the radio the other day, and my wife was like, she was like, who is this again? I was like, oh, it's the Foo Fighters, you know? She's like, yeah, that's right. She's like, I thought it was that. I was like, this song's only like 18 years old. That was Color and Shape.
Longer than that.
When did Color and Shape come out?
I'm guessing 96.
I'm pretty sure it's 97. I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure it's 97.
Well, I mean, I think the first record was 94?
The one with Big
No,
Meanie on it.
94 is
The one
when
with
Kurt
Beanie
Cobain
Weenie.
died. Beanie Weenie.
Remember Beanie Weenie? Or
Also
Weenie
known as
Beanie.
Big Me.
No, Weenie Beanie. That's
Weenie
a song
Beanie.
on the first record.
I know. All right, let me look it up real quick.
Big
All right.
me to talk about it. I know that it's true.
Wikipedia.
I'll be there.
All right, here we go. Oh, Clint.
97.
97 was Color and Shape. 21 years old. First record, 95.
21 years old for... That means that Monkey Wrench and Everlong and Hey Johnny Park,
And that whole great, perfect record.
that's that long ago.
Yeah. Here's what's even more crazy. Maybe not more crazy, but just as crazy. There's Nothing Left to Lose.
Yeah?
Great record where
Yep.
they went back to a three-piece.
Yeah. Like stripped down shit. Yep.
Stripped down shit. That record will be 20 next year.
What was the big song off that?
Nothing Left to Lose.
Yeah.
Learn to Fly.
Yo, God. Fuck.
Huge stacked actors. Breakout.
Learning to Fly is the big one, though.
Huge song.
Make my
What
way
a great
and
video,
learn to
too.
fly.
Tenacious D
Their
was in
videos
it.
were so funny.
The best thing, if you guys haven't watched the Foo Fighters documentary Back and Forth,
Oh, it's so good.
I've probably
guys.
watched it 5 or 6 times at this point.
I've watched it twice.
It's so good. And at one point, Dave Grohl's talking about the Foo Fighters' history and their videos, and he's like, look, they're commercials.
Yes.
Like
they're selling a product.
Our songs are serious, but videos, they're just commercials. They're
they are.
fun.
He's right.
He's totally right. And that's why the majority, really every Foo Fighters video is either fucking hilarious.
They're hilarious.
Or so serious that it's so badass. You're like, oh my God. Like, you remember the All My Life video?
Yeah.
Where they're looking all badass.
What was that record called? One by One. What was that record called?
By the Way.
No, it wasn't By the Way. No.
One by One. Yes.
One by One.
One by One.
That had All My Life and it had Times Like These.
Yes.
Times
Like These. They were like under the bridge.
Fuck.
They were under the bridge.
I've said this before, and I submit to you: Foo Fighters are the Tom Petty of our generation, in the sense that if you go to a Foo Fighters show tomorrow, and you're like, "Oh, I like Learning to Fly and Monkey Wrench," you will go to a Foo Fighters show, and they will play for 2 hours, and you will know every song.
Yes. The last time I saw them play was on the One by One tour.
I've never seen them.
Really?
Times Like These might be my favorite Foo Fighters song, next to Hey Johnny Park from Color and the Shape.
Hey Johnny Park's awesome.
Times Like These, dude. Especially the acoustic version. Did you ever hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
They did it on Skin and Bones.
Skin and Bones, great. It was a great record.
Okay, so
In Your Honor.
In Your Honor was awesome.
The two double disc.
Yes.
Fuck, that's a great band.
So on the One by One tour,
yeah,
it came through Nashville, the Municipal Auditorium, which it wasn't the arena. There was already a big band.
Municipal Auditorium is a shithole.
It's a shithole, but it's fun to see a show there. I saw Muse
because it's intimate. Yeah.
I saw Muse there. I saw My Chemical Romance there.
I saw my dad there.
I saw my stepdad there, which is weird.
It is weird.
It's really weird because my parents have been divorced. But I remember seeing that Foo Fighters tour there, and that was the tour they were doing like their full electric show. And then
that was like
sudden,
what, 2002 or something?
No, that would have been. It was after I moved back to Nashville, so that was probably 06, 07.
Okay.
They did their full electric show. It was amazing, and then all of a sudden it was like lights go down. There's like some kind of music video thing happening, and all of a sudden they're like right in front of me, in the back of the auditorium, doing this acoustic thing. But not the full-on acoustic thing. Like they had some extra players and stuff like that. But it was such a great show. And I remember that night, Dave Grohl kept talking about how like sick he was, but he sounded great.
Yeah.
After the show, so I got in because the drummer in my old band, his sister married the percussion player on that tour. Was named Drew.
Boy. Okay.
So she got us into the show, and afterwards we're at like the after party in the amphitheater. In the auditorium. And I remember sitting there, hanging out with some friends, me and my wife, and my wife, Chris Shiflett, standing next to me, and we just kind of make eye contact and start talking.
Oh, he's great.
Very cool dude. Very cool.
Yeah, he's great.
And at one point I see Dave Grohl walk in. He's in there for maybe 10 minutes, and he just like pieces out.
Yeah.
The very next day, like online, it was like Dave Grohl has the flu. They're to the point where they canceled the next like 3 shows.
Right.
So I thought it was cool that I saw like the last show before he got sick.
That is cool, dude.
Because he sounded like a badass. He didn't sound sick.
Right.
He sounded like normal.
Well,
Dave
you know how
Grohl.
it goes. Like when you get the flu on the road, it like creeps on you and like.
Yeah, but he's the kind of dude that like will get on stage and be like, "Yeah, I just threw up 5 times. I'm gonna do this show. We'll cancel the next couple. We'll make them up. But this show, I'm gonna give it everything.
100%. Everything I got.
100%.
Well, Jerry Cantrell famously said at the big Unplugged show, which Metallica showed up at, and Mike Inez had the bass guitar that said, "Friends don't let friends get haircuts," and all this. Because that was 96, 97, load reload era. Jerry Cantrell was really sick with the flu. He said he was like throwing up before and after the show, but during the show, like your adrenaline and your endorphins, and you sort of make it happen.
It's the healing power of music, bro.
And plus, he can't outshine Lane Staley's heroin.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
When you got the front guy that's like truly gonna die from heroin,
he literally is on heroin.
Months.
Yeah.
Here's what I think is really interesting about Lords of Summer.
Okay.
Is it was specifically written for the By Request tour.
Yeah.
Now, what I thought about that was, when was the last time Metallica wrote a song for a specific purpose? And that was Escape in '84, because Elektra. Wait, this is pre-Elektra.
Yeah, this is still Metal Blade.
Because Elektra was Metal Blade.
Megaforce.
Or Megaforce with Johnny Z. They wanted a commercial song.
Yeah.
So they famously sort of, and that's why James hates it and thinks it's bullshit and all this, because they wrote it for a purpose. They had sort of a deadline, or they had a, which is weird because maybe you less than me, but I do assignment writing. That's my whole career as a writer, is assignment writing.
Of course.
When you write the song for, currently on my plate is, when you write a song for Kane Brown and Reba McEntire and Garth Brooks and Carly Pearce. But this is the second time that I know of that they wrote a song for a purpose.
Right, yeah.
And what's interesting about when you watch the making of it, of Lords of Summer, is they're in the studio writing it with 3 weeks to go. Like, they're going to be playing on a deck in front of, 30,000 people, and they need to have the song written. What do you? Do you think they're impervious to that kind of pressure, or they're like, all right, cool, we put this kind of boundary on ourselves?
Maybe. I feel like they wrote this song for their fans.
Well, of course, but
the Lords of Summer have returned,
and there's a lot of
there's references to their own songs in this song,
but not in these early versions, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They didn't do that. Let's get into that, because
who did they write it for?
Well, let's just get into the song. So
let's do it.
They wrote it for the By Request tour. They wrote it for the By Request tour, which I think, despite what I said, the only other time they did it was more under a cloud.
Right.
Pressure from labels and hits and all that.
Sure.
We're obviously way beyond that. They don't need to make any people in the corporate world happy.
No.
They're Metallica.
Of course.
You're right. They want to do it for the fans, but will it be good? Can you do something good when it's not purely artistically, channeled? And I think in this case, this is, to me, Lords of Summer is the forgotten masterpiece of Hardwired to Self-Destruct.
It really is. It should have been on the record.
The song is awesome. I love the drum intro. I love that main riff. That F sharp
so
shit.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What song off Hardwired would you replace with
Murder
this?
One? Easy.
Me too.
And I like Murder One.
Sure, love it.
And I get it. It's Lemmy was such a big deal for them.
Yeah.
Motorhead's such a huge deal for the band. Arguably, the band wouldn't exist without Motorhead.
Of course, yeah.
Now, does that make the song good? The nice idea behind the song? No.
For Murder One?
No. Does that automatically make the song good? No.
I don't think it's a bad song.
No?
I don't think it's a great song.
But imagine, because
if Lords of Summer was on there,
you know what's weird to me? Well, it's not that weird, but some people don't like "Here Comes Revenge," "Am I Savage," or "Man Unkind."
I love Man Unkind.
Those are the three that kind of people digress on. Everyone loves "Spit."
Am I Savage? I could maybe swap out.
Dude, that song
Wow.
is so fucking good.
Yeah, right?
Am I Savage?
I thought you were about to dog it.
Scratch it. No, I love "Am I Savage."
Scratching at the
I
door.
love the back half of Hardwired so much.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first half is doper.
Sure, of course.
Atlas, Moth, Dream No More, Confusion, Now That We're Dead. All right. But the
All
back
Right's
half,
a great song.
But the back half's not total shit. The
No,
back
not
half
at
to
all.
me is
it's great.
I love the back half. But
Yeah.
but Murder One is the dog to me.
But dude,
To me, you
if
could.
Lords of Summer was on the back half, are you kidding?
I think you could even have called the record Lords of Summer. I think it's that good. It could have
Yeah.
been you could have made. I think you could have called the record Lords of Summer. Okay, you hear me out.
All right, I'm listening.
Don't call the record Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Call track one instead of Hardwired. Call that song Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So that's the battery
Sure.
of Lords of Summer.
Right, yeah.
Lords of Summer is the track two, the Ride the Lightning, the Master of Puppets, the And Justice for All. The track two titular long track.
I mean, the intro is great. It's like ba 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 dun 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 ba 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 dun 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 dun. Or it would have been a great first track on side B.
Side B, yes.
If you're speaking
After
in,
Dream No More.
right?
Or after
if you're
Confusion.
speaking in vinyl terms, side B or the cassette, that would have been a great side B.
And it sounds so good.
It sounds great. Thank you, Philman. Greg.
The lyric is interesting too. It's very Death Magnetic type, very thrashy, brutal lyrics. The self-referential stuff, pounding, no remorse, Lords of Summer set on course, pushing, horseman ride, Lords of Summer undenied. That didn't come till later.
Right.
So
how do you feel about the latter lyrical changes
I don't
where
know.
he references old songs?
There's an interesting... So you can watch the making of Lords of Summer, which I highly recommend to all of our listeners, if you haven't already seen it, where they were under the gun, right? So they had to write the song for this By Request tour. They go do that tour. They play it several times, right? Mm-hmm. One of the times, one of the Rome shows is like on the single or whatever. Then you can watch. It says 14 months later, they're back in the studio with Fiddleman working on Hardwired.
Right.
And Greg says, at the very top of this video, he goes, I think the song needs more.
Okay.
And James is way open. James is like, great. And Lars is too, but Greg is going, here's the problem initially with this is you guys have already been playing it live. You guys already know, quote unquote, how it goes. And I'm basically saying we need to change it.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to be cool with that? And everyone's kind of seems on board, you know?
Yeah. It's a great producer move, for real.
Well, it's interesting because James in the studio, he's got like a notebook in front of him, and he lands on some lyrical changes, and he's like dictating the lyrical changes as they go. Because you probably know this too as an artist. You write it, maybe you kind of see what it can be. Once you start getting on, the floor for you making your record or a deck when you're doing it live. Once you start singing it phonetically, maybe you start augmenting it. This works. This doesn't work.
It totally changes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When you're writing a song and you're sitting there like with an acoustic guitar and it's like you're kind of humming along or singing really quietly, it's like that works. When you actually sit back, sing it full voice, strumming hard on your guitar with a full band, whatever, all of a sudden, like lyrically, especially in melody, that can change so quick.
Right.
Because you'll sing out really loud and you're like, oh shit, what I sang quietly does not work like that.
It's a phrasing thing. It's phonetic.
Yep, totally.
Now, it can also be conceptual. So the actual lyric for the kind of... There's almost two choruses. Pounding, pounding, no remorse. Lords of Summer, hear our voice.
Right.
But then it goes to this... At last the thawing has begun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What that lyric was when they were doing it live was, eternal thawing has begun. Come trade your darkness for the sun. Which I think is some of the best lyrics.
It's awesome.
I just think that's such a great image.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between... So it was eternal thawing has begun, and then James later sort of augmented that into at last the thawing has begun. Now, not to get too heady, not to get too Dungeons and Dragons-y on that, but conceptually, the difference between eternal thawing has begun, something that's always happened and will always happen, to at last the thawing has begun.
I prefer that.
Well, it's better.
Yeah.
Come trade your darkness for the sun. The whole shift, to say like eternal thawing has begun feels like there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's eternal. There's a sort of complacency and a giving over to what's the status quo.
Right. But come trade your darkness for the sun is almost like there's a second chance. Like,
well, the at last
right
is like, we've been waiting for this and it's happened.
Yeah.
That's just such a small phonetic thing.
I love it.
But it changes the whole meaning of it.
Yeah.
So I honed in on that. They've only played it 33 times.
Which to me is a good amount of times, considering that, they played it X amount of times before the record came out.
Yeah. But it's good
there's
enough. It's good enough to have made its way, I think, in more set lists.
Sure. But, there's plenty of, like, what I would consider classic Metallica songs that have played less.
Yeah.
33 times for a song that is still relatively brand new. And most of the times they played it were before they actually changed stuff about it.
It's kind of in, like, Judas Kiss, Devil's Dance zone.
To me, it was a song
that
in the
30s and 40s.
I would imagine when they finished the song pre-Fiddleman, started playing it live, they were like, this is a new song. This is happening on the next record. We're doing it. And they played it live a bunch. And then later found out, like, okay, we should change this and this and this. I don't know. I think they were that excited about the song because it was the first thing since Death Magnetic that we heard.
Yeah.
8 years.
That and Vulturous.
Right. But, like...
And the Beyond
8
Magnetic
years is a long time, though. Like, that's
sure.
a fucking long time since the last record. If you're just like a normal fan, excuse me, looking like, okay, Death Magnetic.
Well, if they did, it was 6 years. They Death Magnetic was 08. They debuted this in 14.
Right,
So,
yeah,
6 years. But that's a long fucking
That's
time.
so long time.
They made a movie. They did the Orion Fest a couple times. All right.
But no new Metallica songs.
Yeah,
And
totally.
then all of a sudden we hear this, and it's like,
and
holy
it's bitching.
shit.
And it's fucking bitching.
Totally bitching. Especially if you only heard it live. You haven't heard that mildly crappy studio recording. We watched this online live, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's fast. It's heavy. The lyrics are good.
It's kind of got...
Great parts. Like, great dynamics.
And it's kind of long, so it
Yeah.
kind of does the normal Metallica long thing, a la Puppets, is like big intro, verse, chorus thing. Then they do that twice.
Totally.
Then there's like Solo World. Then they do the third round of the big verse, chorus thing.
Yep.
Then a great outro, and it's long.
Yeah. Love it.
And
I'll take it.
Yeah, me too.
And that's on us being like, we like the old stuff.
I mean, I do like the old stuff. But
Of course I do, yeah.
However, that's not.
I'm also totally cool with
really-
like the slow songs and the short songs and whatever.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hardwired to Self-Destruct. The song is one of the shortest songs they've ever written.
Very short, yeah.
Well, speaking of you kind of mentioned like a rougher demo that came out.
Mm-hmm.
They released a single. It was a digital single. They did a digital single and a 12-inch vinyl that came out on June 20th, 2014. And the digital just had what was called the first pass, which is it's non-Greg Fiddleman. It's quote unquote produced by James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich. And it's like a demo, but it's a little better.
Yeah. It's not great, but
It's kind of loose.
but coming from Hardwired, again, to reiterate
But
my
this
point.
is pre-hardwired. But
I'm sorry, Death Magnetic.
Yeah.
Coming
It's
from
better-
Death Magnetic, like you hear this and you're like, okay,
yeah.
it's lo-fi. It's not amazingly produced, but it's a new
But
Metallica
the vocals
song.
were a little better, and it was
Holy shit, we have
yeah.
a new Metallica song.
Yeah, and it was as good as that.
Yes.
Now the 12-inch version, that came with the Live at Rock and Rome, which was from July 1st, 2014, and also the first pass.
Right.
The official video is cool. It's like a montage of the whole By Request tour.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a note that says in the live video of the June 2nd, 2015 performance in Milan. Oh, that's great. You can see this on the website. So they have the Milan performance of 2015, but they show a tuning room before that. And
Yeah.
it's them playing the Unforgiven 2 in the tuning room. Which
Love
to
it.
me is just such a treat. It's just so rare and weird to see them doing it.
You know, as much as the Unforgiven 1 is a classic.
Well, that's
Of course.
classic.
Classic.
For sure.
On this next tour, I would love to see 2 or 3. One of the two, I'd be so happy with.
To me, Unforgiven
Awesome.
2, Black Album is when in my mind's eye, because of my age and my time,
Yeah.
I see the Black Album era Metallica. I see that look on James and Kirk,
Right, man.
but a very close second to that is Load and Reload era.
But if you and I were at a show and all of a sudden it was like, what I felt, what I've known.
Turn the pages, turn the stone.
Yes.
I'll be there.
These 5 words I swear to
Oh,
you.
dude. I mean, do you really want me to sing all of Unforgiven 2 right now? Lay beside me. This won't hurt, I swear.
Yeah.
Loves me not, she loves me still.
Yeah,
Will she ever love my hair?
I hope so. Turn the pages, turn to stone.
Behind the door, should I open it for you? Or are you Unforgiven
Unforgiven
2?
2.
God damn it.
Does that mean as well or part 2? Or what does it mean?
It means as well.
As well,
It's
yeah.
comma T-O-O.
T-O-O. T-W-O.
He's because the first one is he can't forgive himself.
Right, yeah.
He's unforgiven. The second one is she's unforgiven too, and he kills her.
Yeah.
Because that was in his mid-90s
That's dark.
Tom Waits exploration
Yeah.
shit. Unforgiven 3 comes back to himself. You know, how can I be lost?
If I got nowhere to go,
Search for
seas
seas
of gold, how come it's got so cold? So good, so good,
So good, so right. Randy Watson.
so good, so good.
Sweet Caroline.
There it is.
James. All right. I think Lords of Summer should have been on Hardwired. I do.
I do too,
I understand
yeah.
they maybe didn't think it thematically fit. They had to get Murder One on there because of Lemmy, and it was a very important figure. But I think as time has gone on, that song doesn't make sense.
They could have probably gotten rid of Atlas Rise.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, that's a fun experiment, though.
I'm kidding.
No. Well, obviously it can't be Atlas. If there's one song to go that's not Murder One, what do you think it'll be?
That's tough.
If Lords of Summer is going to go on Hardwired, but it can't replace Murder One. Now, it can't be Moth or Hardwired.
Of course, yeah.
Or Halo. Here are the contenders.
Confusion?
And it can't be Atlas. Confusion is a contender. Yeah. Here Comes Revenge. Am I Savage? Mankind. Those are your options. You got 4 options. Mankind, Here Comes Revenge.
Yeah.
Confusion, Am I Savage? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going Confusion. I could do without Confusion.
I'm going Here Comes Revenge.
No.
Yes. I'll be there for you.
Little grieve, I'm grieving. I will find you.
Great
That
stuff.
is
Great
awesome.
Stuff. Of course it is. You know how hard it is to eliminate a song off that record?
It seemed pretty easy just now to you.
Because you asked me on... we're recording a podcast.
Only because you didn't choose what I chose.
If you asked me in real life, I would take 3 days to decide. Clint, I'll text you back in a couple days.
Okay, cool. Well, let's move on.
Okay, it's Moth and the Flame.
No.
I would never do that.
I would throw a spear through your heart.
Oh, this podcast would be
a
over.
la Lord of Flies. Okay, the Ronnie Rising medley. What do you think about this song?
I fucking love it.
I do too.
Love it.
I think this made your top 10 of their covers.
Yes, and like I said before we started recording this episode, this medley... So, I've known a lot of Dio songs over the years. However, I've never really dove into Rainbow.
I haven't either.
You should.
Oh.
You really should.
Well, do I need to after the Ronnie Rising medley?
Yes.
Have I not learned all I need to know?
You have not.
Okay.
Okay, so Terror Woman, for instance.
Well, okay. This is my favorite. So it's 4 songs.
Yes.
And this was originally for the Ronnie James Dio This Is Your Life tribute record.
Right.
Now, Terror Woman is my favorite. It's the starter. And
Terror
only because
Woman! Oh, so good.
Only because I feel like it would fit on a Lunar Satan record.
It really would.
Here's a sampling of the lyric. She can take you there, the entrance to the fair. My. Ride the carousel, cast a magic spell, you can fly, fly, fly.
Inspiration.
Just the imagery of, like, finding a witch at a fair. Like, you know, because fairs are filled with transients. They come and go, they set up, they split. You're going to meet a witch there, probably.
Or at the very least, you should write a song about... Like for Lunar Satan, you should write a song about like a Ren fair.
Okay. I'm in.
Witches are way more bound to be there than just a normal fair, right? Are we talking about like a
I've already
country fair?
Yeah, no, a county, like a traveling,
fair.
like a carnival, like carnies.
Okay, there you go. All right.
The bearded lady is a witch.
Yeah.
Now, Lunar Satan is more about Satan than witches and shit, and we've already written a great witch song.
Sure.
Set the Witch on Fire.
Again.
Parentheses again.
Yes. That's one of the best titles ever.
But I do appreciate the sort of that's kind of the hallmark of power metal, right? Demons and dragons and witches and warlocks and.
Well, what's great about Dio is, like, you know, back in the day, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty known that he didn't actually believe in witches and demons.
No one does.
Exactly.
It's fun.
But he used this as a fictitious way to write great songs.
Yeah, he's a storyteller.
Yeah, exactly.
And to that point, so for Terror, when we go into Stargazer, into Kill the King, which I loved all that Kill the King shit.
Yeah.
Light in the Black. The solos are great. A lot of guitar harmonies.
Oh yeah.
They've never played it live, which I'm okay with. I mean,
I'm cool with that. I would like to hear it once.
Yeah.
I think the recording, like Hetfield's voice especially, fucking kills
The
it.
recording is amazing.
Kills it. It's so good.
And do you think, I thought about this today, do you think they did it all in one go? Or do you think that was like through the majesty
Through the
of
never, I don't know.
current editing? It sounds fluid.
It sounds great.
It sounds fluid to me, like they
Sounds
did
fluid, but I mean, obviously there's tempo changes, this and that.
But it sounds like they're doing it in real time. And there's even like these big vocal things that go over the tempo changes. But you as well as I know.
I just think that like Hetfield especially, to me, this is on any cover song. This is where he really shines.
Yeah.
He gets up high, not as high as Dio, obviously, but
Well, no one can do that.
Of course not.
He doesn't go as high as Ozzy either on the Sabracadabra shit.
Right.
Well, because that's not really the point of covers.
No.
I don't go as high as Metallica when we cover them.
I definitely do not. Listen to my voice right now.
Romance lyric.
Sanitarium.
Let your soul glow.
Let your soul glow.
Dude, when are we going to cover Soul Glow?
I don't think anyone has ever meant to know what key that's in. It's
in about 15 different keys.
It's so high that you'll never know. I think
You'd like to see him do it live.
One time.
But if we go to see Metallica on the next tour and they have to take up 2 or 3 songs to do the Ronnie Rising medley, I'm not willing to give that up.
If they just did, not the whole medley, just Terror Woman.
Like, we're going to do Leper Messiah and Dyer's Eve.
Terror Woman.
And Unforgiven 3.
There's always a cover slot, though.
Not always.
Most of the time. Recently, in Europe it has been, which they're doing the same setup. So if there's a cover slot, I would love to hear just Terror Woman. I think it's
Chances
so good.
of that are almost 0.
I know that. But a boy can dream.
They're actually less than 0. That's what I mean by almost 0. They're negative.
Great
0.
soundtrack produced by Rick Rubin.
Ricardo, Ricardius, and Rubonium.
Yeah, Rubonarium.
Track 3, which was one of my favorite covers in my top 10 covers, When a Blind Man Cries.
You love the song. It's good.
There's almost nothing not good about it. Originally...
I can tell you what is not good about it.
What? The drums are too loud?
Too dry.
No.
Yes. Even today, I listened down to this whole disc 3 a couple times.
No, the drums are dry.
The drums are dry. No, for real. I think the song should be very airy, very
wet.
Very wet.
Roomy.
When the drums come in, it's just like... It's so dry.
I like that about it.
A little bit of room sound.
Yeah.
I think it'd be more fitting for the production of the song.
Well,
that's my only complaint.
Originally released by Deep Purple in 1972 as a B-side to the Never Before single, and then of course on Machine Head, Metallica recorded it for the remachined tribute to Deep Purple's Machine Head record. I just think there's some stuff you hear on this that's not typical Metallica. The creepy atmospheric guitar, which they did on Astronomy, the Blue Oyster Cult song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of atmospheric guitar on the Load and Reload era records.
Of course.
But it's still, those are just 2 records, largely decried by the band. Mm-hmm. We don't hear that as much, you know?
Totally.
You know what? Great creepy guitar on Here Comes Revenge, the song that you apparently hate.
No. Are we fighting?
Is this what fighting is like in a relationship?
I can't believe you don't like that song, Clint. We are definitely not... You're on the couch tonight.
Have you heard... every night. Have you heard Richie Sambora's cover of the song? It's pretty interesting.
I have not.
It's not as good as Metallica's, I'll say.
Do you know what other song he played on?
Richie Sambora.
I'll be there for you. These 5 words I swear to you. When you breathe, I want to be the air for you. I'll be there for you. I'll die for you. The sun for you. The blah, 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 blah.
All right.
I'll be there for you.
Oh, say,
whoa.
Can you see I'm coming to America? That's the theme song.
I was about to go into the actual national anthem.
Now, here's the deal. I do want to highlight, they've only played this song 3 times.
Yeah.
And 2 of these shows are interesting. Now, the first one, they played it May 12th of 2014 in Los Angeles for the Music Cares MAP Fund benefit, where James also played In My Life by the Beatles, because this was like an Ozzy tribute, and that's Ozzy Osbourne's favorite Beatles song.
Wow.
In my life, Bon Jovi more.
My life.
They also did Rare Earths, I Just Want to Celebrate, and they did Diary of a Madman.
It's cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
The When a Blind Man Cries, this is like a few years earlier than the version we know. It's very fast.
Yeah.
When a blind man cries, oh, you know.
I'll be there for you.
Or-
These 5 words I swear to you.
Should we do the reggae version? When a blind jaw cries,
Rastafari.
oh, you know.
Jalove. Dreadlock Rasta.
Now, they did it, the next 2 times they did it were 2 years later, October 22nd and 23rd, 2016, in California for the 30th annual Bridge School benefit at Shoreline Amphitheater. You ever played Shoreline?
I have.
I have
2
too.
times, yeah.
2 times?
I said a few times.
Oh.
No big deal.
So more than 2.
Yep.
I've done it too. I thought we were going to be equal.
2.5.
Crap.
Played in the parking lot one time.
It was a lot more like the record. It was like more vibey and stripped down. They also did, what you'll be interested to know, Clamp Down. You like that song?
Yeah.
By The Clash?
Searching for the clamp down. They start wearing blue and brown. Looking for the clamp down.
I'll be there for you.
These 5 words.
They also did Hero of the Day, Bleeding Me, and one of my favorite Neil songs, they did Mr. Soul with Neil Young. And they also did Hardwired Acoustic, where they sort of famously botched it,
Yeah.
which I forgive them for.
That one, like...
Have you seen that, where they kind of
yeah,
fuck it up?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But what's weird about it is they fuck it up, but James does what I would do, because I've been in these situations.
Okay.
He plows through, and he keeps waiting for Lars to just come back in. And Lars is trying to go, no, let's just start it over. And James is like, come on, get in.
Well, you're already there. Might as well commit,
Well,
right?
because there's just 2 speeds of that, right? If you really shit the bed, there's 2 speeds. One speed is call the whole thing off, start over.
Yep.
That's just the one of the 2 speeds.
Right.
Second speed is you fucking plow through it and
Plow that
fucking
shit.
go.
Commit. Yeah.
And Lars is wanting to start over, and James is wanting to plow, and it's weird to see them fight on that.
I mean, I can honestly say that, like, maybe not the best choice for, like, an acoustic song. Acoustic?
I think it's. I mean, out of all
It's
their,
bold.
I think it's bold
For
That's what
sure.
but that's what they do.
My question is,
That's what
when
the
they
boys
were,
do, though.
Do they?
Are you?
Is you?
Can I?
Maybe. But is that a song that when they were rehearsing for this acoustic thing, they rehearsed and they were like, "Fuck yeah, we got it. This will be great."
You know, it's the last song they wrote for Hardwired for the record.
It is. Yeah.
And so, to that point, maybe they were the most excited about it because it's the last one they wrote.
Maybe.
I think it was a cool shot.
A cool
they
shot.
definitely didn't land it.
No, not at all.
But you know what? We don't have any other acoustic versions of any Hardwired songs.
Metallica should have done this one acoustic, like real delicate. It's such a fast, thrashy song. Why not do it just like, don't try to play it exactly like the record, but acoustic.
Well,
That's my only point.
I totally agree.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on. The 4th song.
Track 2.
I think we're on track 4.
4 we are. Remember Tomorrow. Iron Maiden.
Which was from their first record.
A.K.A.
pre-Bruce Dickinson.
Creeping Death.
I don't like the song because there's no chorus in it.
I still love the song.
I'm not into it. I mean, I think it sounds great. It's cool.
Let's start with the
It's
intro.
early Maiden. All right, okay.
The intro is Creeping Death.
Is Do you want to put an A? You want to A/B it here?
Yes, we should.
You want to test the theory?
Yep. It's crazy though. Like, okay, so it basically the drums and guitar go ba 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 ba, but the actual harmonies go on guitar go da 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 ba 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 ba. But the drums and guitar are basically Creeping Death.
Okay.
I would imagine because this song is older than Metallica.
Yes. This is 1980.
Right. They probably heard this because they were heavily influenced by Iron Maiden. heard that. I could be totally wrong, but I'd be shocked if they weren't influenced by this song.
So you're saying Creeping Death is basically an amalgamation of Remember Tomorrow by Iron Maiden and that Exodus song that Kirk stole the Die shit from.
But this one, I mean, or just listen to Lars's drums alone on this song, on this cover. It literally is. It doesn't do the ba ba ba, nothing like that. But the first one is.
It's just weird. I'm not normally very particular about songs that don't have choruses. Like, for example, Fade to Black doesn't have a chorus.
Right,
I mean, it has a musical section.
Yes.
Which is still increasingly amazing to me. They didn't, like, write a chorus for that. They just let that chorus be like instrumental.
This is our chorus. I hope you like it.
Our gear was
maybe
stolen.
Not. Yeah.
Anthrax let us borrow a Marshall cabinet, so we were loud.
And the lyrics are depressing.
I'm gonna kill myself. All right, it's cool, and thus ends sort of the studio segment of Disc 3 of Hardwired.
If you
should you,
would you, could you, initially, when I first saw the deluxe edition, I thought, oh, that's it for studio recordings. That's all. That's not a lot. It's 4 songs.
Yes. One of them's 10 minutes long.
Of course, yeah, of course. But I thought, oh, what else is there?
Mm-hmm.
Some outtakes from Hardwire, B-sides, whatever.
Yep.
But then we jumped straight into their Record Store Day set at Rasputin in Berkeley.
I think a totally great idea. Because
it's great. I'm not saying it's bad.
Right.
I just thought, like, oh, track 4. Oh, we're on track 5. For now, we're doing live stuff for the rest of the disc.
Well, let's just get into that, too. Like, so they played at the Rasputin record store, which is one of the record stores that Kurt grew up going to.
Yep.
We didn't mention his Record Store Day tale before, but he said he would drive 2 hours to Berkeley to visit 2 record stores, one of them being this one, the other one being, hold on, let me look at my notes here, to Rasputin and Rather Ripped Records.
Never been there.
He talks about how when he went to a record store, it was before they even had a heavy metal section.
Yeah.
Like Judas Priest and Sabbath and Iron Maiden and Tigers of Peng-Tang and whatever, all that shit. That was all in hard rock.
Right, yeah.
They didn't even have a metal section.
Totally.
In fact, Metallica is one of the reasons there is a metal section.
You're
along
welcome.
with Megadeth and Testament and Exodus and
Well,
Anthrax.
we're not as big,
So, here's what I like about... So, they're Record Store Day ambassadors, so they're playing in this record store. The record store Kirk grew up going to.
Yes.
And it's not quite Bay Area, it's Berkeley, so it's across the bridge.
It's considered
Oakland,
Bay Area, it's East Bay.
but it's Oakland, yeah.
East Bay Area.
What I love about the whole performance, and we're going to dip into this soon, but like, there's no production, there's no lights, it's daytime.
Oh, yeah.
It's a small, it's an in-store record performance.
It is,
which
yeah.
You've probably
I mean,
done a million of these.
yes.
I've done a million of these.
I'd imagine in this performance there's probably
100?
100 people, 150 maybe. It's not big.
Because that
But
place
that's
is
what's great about Metallica. They do
I know.
these things. That,
I know, I totally agree.
They get asked, like, hey, do you want to be ambassadors for Record Store this year? They're like, sure. And it's probably up to them to be like, what are we going to do?
how we're going to make it
Well,
special.
let's release
Yeah.
this. Let's
Yeah.
play this thing at
Yeah.
Rasputin.
Well, them
It's
in
amazing.
management, they probably brainstorm and
Totally.
one of the coolest things about the whole show is at the top where they come on stage. It feels very loose. James is like, hey, what's happening? Lars is like hitting the drums, warming up, and then he just starts going into helpless.
Yeah. It
And it
seems
feels-
planned, but it also seems equally as like
It seems like them in their
Lars
garage.
is just like goofing around,
Yes.
and James is just like
It's before you know it, they launch in.
and go right through it.
It feels really exciting.
The only reason I think that was planned out is because they cut out a few parts from the song.
It's a truncated version.
yes.
And
Still, it was very awesome.
it being planned is fine, but even if they plan it the way it's not like they're like, hey, we planned a very cool thing for you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
They just come up and just sort of do it the way they probably did it in the garage, where it's
Yeah.
like he just starts the drum thing and you just fall in.
That was a great thing about this whole performance was that like they're back in the Bay Area. They're playing mostly old school songs.
Yeah, it's almost
Like that was great about even though they probably planned out Helpless. It was like hey, Lars, just start on the drums and we'll make it sound like we're doing this.
It's funny that you said that about them like being home. Like, we're gonna get into this later, but I didn't realize until I burnt this whole thing down. This is the latest song they played, and that's 87 for them.
Yeah.
Everything else they played is 84 and earlier.
Yep.
All right.
But that's also the thing like we love about Metallica is that like this is Record Store Day. They're looking back on like
They're looking
the
back.
final era.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What-
looking back, final era of their career. Let's play our first couple records.
It's deeper than it seems on the surface.
Yeah.
These are thoughtful people.
Yes, of course.
James, I love, is playing his kind of newish black Vulture V, which I want one. For those of you
I'll
from
buy you one.
from ESP listening, Kirk's playing the classic black Gibson V, very thrashy. A good Kirk solo, starts in strong. Now they go from Helpless into what is increasingly to me feeling like one of the most important Metallica songs, which is the first Metallica song,
Exactly. Unforgiven.
Carpe Diem Baby.
Exactly.
No, hit the
Mama
light.
said, hit the lights.
Hit the lights.
I mean, it's almost like Helpless was like their warm-up act.
It's like when they did the live at Webster Hall.
Yeah.
When James is like, hey, before we get started, and then he plays Bread Fan.
Right.
Brown to brown to brown. And then after that, it's almost like, now let's play the set.
Yeah. Now let's get into it.
I mean, how crazy is it that Hit the Lights is the first song on the Metal Massacre compilation, the first song James and Lars sort of arranged together.
Yep.
It's not the best lyric, especially when we know what James would go on to write, even one album later. The lyrics for Bells or Ride the
Right.
Lightning or Creeping Death are so heavy. But it's probably the song I care about the lyric the least, in the sense that, like, I don't care that the lyric's stupid. No Life to Leather will kick some ass tonight. It doesn't matter. The energy and the riffs and the power of that song feels so much bigger than the lyric.
You're correct. Yeah, exactly. And I would even say that like the actual lyrics, even though they're kind of cheesy, "No Life to Leather will kick some ass tonight."
They're of their time, right?
They're of their time, and especially in this moment, being in the Bay Area, being ambassadors of Record Store Day, playing a small record store, one of the biggest metal bands of all, the biggest metal band of all time,
The biggest.
are playing Rasputin Record Store
Yeah.
in Berkeley.
Yeah.
For 100 to 150 people. It's
So cool.
And
During the day.
yeah, they're like,
no-
let's play Hit the Lights.
Yeah.
We're on our old school stomping ground. This is where we grew up playing music. Let's play all old shit. That's how much they love their fans. If they got on stage and they were like, "What's up? We're ambassadors of Record Store Day. This is Enter Sandman."
Hello, Cleveland.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna play Wherever in Rome. Sure, fans would be stoked.
Oh, well, I would have been stoked, but
I would have been too.
But yeah, you're right.
But for the context of what it is,
it was
a smart
intentional.
move.
It was intentional.
very smart move.
They were saying we're in a record store celebrating the magic of records.
Yes.
And the culture of record stores. We're going to play the first 10 songs that came from that love. And to me, Hit the Lights, it for me, it doesn't get any better.
Right.
And I just, as much as I love Kill 'Em All era, and we did the Kill 'Em All box set,
Right.
we reviewed all those live shows, I love hearing mature Metallica play those songs.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a sonic weight that comes with it, and the way you sing a song many years down the road is you bring a different weight to it.
Right. Exactly.
And I can
Yeah.
see that in James.
Yeah,
So,
the song evolves over time.
all right, so we go from that into another Kill 'Em All fucking 1-2 punch. The fucking Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
Which I hate Dave Mustaine for having written this song
He
because
didn't hear the mechanics.
well, he wrote the music.
I know. But you know what?
It's
As much
it's
as
so
Dave is
great.
a turd nowadays, he wrote some great shit.
He wrote
He
a
really
few. He wrote a few good songs.
Jump in the Fire, great riff.
They played that on this. We're gonna get to Jump in the Fire. Here we go. Here we go.
Acoustic version.
Come on. Jump in the fire. Please come on. Jump in the fire.
This is the Days the New version.
Now I stand.
Pretty sick.
Four Horsemen. Kirk switches to the White Zombie ESP. One of my favorite Kirk guitars.
Classic guitar, yeah. Love it.
The bridge riff is so badass. Bow, 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 bow. No swing section. No Sweet Home Alabama section.
I think that's gone for a long time.
I think it's gone.
I would love it back. Bring it back.
I wouldn't mind it. I don't miss it.
It's so good.
I don't miss it, but I wouldn't mind it. Can those opinions exist? I wouldn't miss it, but I don't mind it.
I don't mind it, but I
don't hate it.
Should have missed it.
Should have loved it. Don't miss it.
Should have. Could have. Would
have. James, at the end of the song, James is like, "Shit, that was some high singing."
Okay, so when I listened to this today, this is the point I was going to bring up. This was still in the era of Hetfield, where he over time had been training his voice to get better and better, and explored higher notes, stuff that he hit when he was young. But when he was young, it was like a scream high note. So this is a classic example of him just like trying to hit those notes, and he hits them, but it takes him a second to get up there.
Yeah.
Like Four Horsemen, for instance, it's like, I'd rather him just go, sorry, my voice is tired right now. But, I wish it was just like, right, he
doesn't have to go the whole octave. It's an octave.
It's an octave up.
Well, what's weird is, you're right, he doesn't quite land it. Right. Although I think he does sound good.
Not bad at all, for sure.
But, of course, the perfectionist he is, as soon as they burn the song down, he makes a joke about it, right? Like, shit, that was high. That was a young kid a long time ago. But then they go into maybe my favorite song from the set, Ride the Fucking Lightning.
This is where I feel like they really locked in.
He does all the high notes great on that.
He does.
No, damn it, it ain't right. So he does those like the beginning of each couplet of the verses, which are super high. Which in recent years he's not been doing. To your point, he does. So I don't know. Damn it, it ain't right. He doesn't do the octave,
which is fine too. But back then he was doing that.
But it's almost like him struggling through the Four Horsemen warmed his voice up. Yeah. And then he kind of nails the Ride the Lightning shit.
I feel like when they play Ride the Lightning, like they've kind of settled into like cruise control. Like this is where they're sounding good.
It's just every time I hear that song live, I'm reminded why it's my favorite record, because the fact that was their second record out of the gate.
Yeah.
And to me, Four Horsemen is the closest thing that comes to the complexity of the song Ride the Lightning.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of the parts, the solo, the lyrical depth of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe there's a lot to say there for Dave there, because Dave kind of wrote Four Horsemen musically, and he is responsible for several riffs in Ride the Lightning.
Right. Yeah. I better get credit on that.
Which bums me out, because I think he's a super butthole.
Is he?
He is.
Yes.
To quote my favorite band now, Ghost, he is. I just think the solo to Ride the Lightning is a crowning achievement in Kirk's career.
100% agreed.
And he would go on to do so many just things that stand out to me. Master Puppets, Damage Inc., Blackened, Dyer's Eve, Unforgiven 2 even is great solo. But Ride the Lightning is almost like the wake-up call from Kill 'Em All to Ride the Lightning. That solo.
It's like,
it starts with
here's
the tapping.
Kirk Hammett. Yeah.
It starts with the tapping. It does very melodic shit. Then it does the shreddy shit. Then it does that. Those big hammer-ons and pull-offs.
It's awesome.
All right.
It was almost like Kirk's graduation. Or it was acceptance into the band. Like, you do your thing.
Totally.
Dave did this. You kind of pulled some of that.
We need you to learn the first 16 bars and then do your own thing.
Exactly. This is your time to shine. Yes. And this song is a perfect example of
and
that.
Kirk has several co-writes on Lightning. I mean, the heat he brought to Creeping Death.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've said this before. Even if it was just Creeping Death, let alone the amazing bridge riff to Damage Inc. And he brought a lot of heat to Puppets and Disposable Heroes. But Enter Sandman is the biggest pass in metal you can ever get.
I mean, he wrote the main riff.
He wrote the main riff to the most ubiquitous metal song of all time.
Real quick. You ready for it?
Yeah.
I'll be there for you. That's the Marcy Playground version.
I mean, that's... You can't fuck with that.
No, it's the best.
You can't.
Well, it's the best.
Dude, it's their biggest song. They're sellouts. No.
No, you're stupid.
You're stupid.
You are a dummy disguised as a quote unquote true. That's my personal opinion. If you don't like it, quit listening to the podcast.
I'm tattooing that on my leg.
But Ride the Lightning is just for me such a hallmark, and to see them do it live all these years later and still kill it, it's a big treat. They go into kind of a Kirk solo, which kind of seems to be an excuse for James to take a break.
Yeah.
And what's weird is on the video, which you can see online, it's like his audio is not coming through in the house, but you can tell it's coming through in his ears because he keeps ripping. He's like ripping like nothing's wrong, but you can't hear anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird.
And then I don't know if that's a big mic thing or whatever. The audio finally comes through. James changes it back to a snake bite. And now this is a kind of an emotional highlight of the show. They do Fade to Black, which, by the way, I love hearing it with James playing electric instead of acoustic.
I love it.
I know that on the record it's acoustic, and I
it
know
is,
that
sure.
on the stadium tour they did the acoustic thing.
But back in the day, there was numerous tours where he did electric, and
Totally.
it sounded awesome.
Well, yeah, even in the 90s, I think Black Album World, they still did electric.
Oh, yeah. They were doing Unforgiven electric. Wasn't that the 12-string, the double neck? Or no, Nothing Else Matters.
That was Nothing Else Matters, yeah.
But still.
They always did Unforgiven with a nylon guitar.
Yeah.
But Fade to Black, though, I don't know, that creepy B minor riff, it just sounds better with that great James chorusy clean.
Right, yeah. I
Which
agree.
never, other than like Robert Smith of The Cure or Johnny Marr of The Smiths, have I tolerated the chorus pedal as much as James Hetfield.
It's tough.
Or Andy
It's a
Summers,
tough
maybe,
effect.
some Police stuff. But
Yeah.
James has that.
Message in a bottle. Come on.
It's like James has the depth up kind of high, but the rate low on the pedal.
Well, what also helps is his touch on the
he's got
guitar.
That's the magic.
That's
you
the
just
magic.
nailed it.
Yeah.
That's the magic.
Yes. Like, I could get up there with whatever effects Hetfield has on his rig.
And you would actually probably be okay at it because you have
I
good
could play
touch.
it and play it fine, but if Hetfield grabbed the guitar from me and played it, it would be like, yeah, that's the sound.
There was a great scene in the Beatles movie Let It Be where George is playing his classic Rosewood Telly, where the whole body and neck are made of rosewood. It's a very famous guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest Beatles fan you'll probably ever meet, but George did not have a good touch.
Right.
He's a genius and a great songwriter, but he had to, much like me in my career, he had to fight the instrument for it to sound buttery and great.
Yeah.
There's a scene in Let It Be where he's very frustrated, and it sounds clinkety clink, pluckety plucky, and he just can't figure it out. And Eric Clapton is hanging out, and George, in a moment of frustration, thrusts the guitar into Eric's hands and says, "You do something with this. I can't."
Yeah.
Eric Clapton, who knows he's in the presence of gods, is like, "I don't know, I shouldn't." What should I do? But he takes the guitar, same amp, same guitar, nothing changed.
In the
and
hands.
he's like, bing, 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 and it sounds like heaven.
It's all in the hips.
But
It's all in the hips. It's true, though. Like,
Well, George looks at him like, how did you, like, George looks defeated.
he basically looked at him and said, fuck you.
Well, because it just rang true that there's some shit that you can't, there's some shit that's like biological.
Well, yeah, you can't just plug in, like, if Eric Clapton walked into this studio right now, into HQ1,
The sound of him.
and had his rig,
yes.
or let's just say
no,
this.
it would even be your
he
rig.
plugged into my rig.
Right,
And he was like, turn on every pedal you have.
right.
He would make it still sound like fucking gold.
I was playing Bob Schneider for a Rachel Ray party in Austin.
Rachel Ray?
Rachel Ray.
The chef?
Yes.
TV personality?
She's a friend of ours. Yeah. And she hosts a big party at South by
She's a
Southwest.
babe. Total babe.
She's cool.
She's a babe.
She's my friend.
Really?
She is. I don't want to call her a babe.
Well,
I think she's beautiful.
I'll call her a babe. She's so cute.
She's cool. Well, her husband, who's also a friend of mine, John Cusimano,
Oh, she's married. Never mind.
he's in a band called The Cringe.
Okay.
And
we played, and then the Cringe played, and then whoever headlined, like Train played at South by Southwest at Stubbs. You probably played Stubbs outside Stubbs, and I was up in the balcony watching Cringe play John's band, and I was thinking, I don't know if it's front of house or whatever. The guitars sound very brittle, and they're not working for me.
Sure.
Well, because they're celebrities, Rachel and John. They're like, oh, our friend Billy Gibbons is here. He's going to come play a song with us.
Have you heard of him?
Billy Gibbons famously of ZZ Top. Now, Billy Gibbons comes out, and they don't have an amp for him or a guitar for him. The guitar player from The Cringe hands him his guitar. And this whole show, 30 minutes, I'm going, this guitar does not sound as good as it could. Billy walks back to the amp and just does these little minor ding, 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 ding. And he starts going, go, 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 Sharpness Man. And it sounded exactly like ZZ Top. And I was like, myth confirmed.
Yep.
It's in your it's how you fucking touch it.
Even if Billy Gibbons did not go back to the amp and adjust anything, he could have played it on a Mesa Boogie or a fucking Fractal or whatever, a Diesel amp. It might be, the distortion might be a little bit much, but if he went...
Or he'd roll the volume knob down a little bit. It's just all there.
Lot of tone is in the... Most of the tone is in the hands. So the Clapton slow hand. Where are we at? Jump in the Fire?
No, we're on Faded Black.
Okay, still.
Because what I want to say about it, so Kirk's playing this Burgundy Les Paul, which is great. He sounds great. Rob's playing the Jocko P bass.
Yeah.
But what I like about Faded Black is James dedicates it to Cliff. A lot of Cliff mojo.
Yeah.
Right before the ga 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 ga, he does the whole like, Cliff, can you hear us? Which is real sweet.
But they're also like basically in their new hometown. Totally. They're out of LA, but they're in the Bay Area. This is where
that
they
was
started.
Cliff's hometown.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ray Burton was in the crowd.
Right. He always is. So like, Cliff, can you hear us? Is like, I mean, Ray had to have been just like filled with emotion at that point. Because this is Cliff's stomping ground.
Well, even after the song ends, James talks about the people that have passed on, who are still with them. He dedicates the next song to all the people that they miss, and then kind of surprisingly for a dedication like that, they go into Jump in the Fire. A song
Just
about
kidding. This is for Dave Mustaine.
A song about the devil pulling them into hell.
Right.
It is cool to hear these songs though. Like, I do love hearing the Kill 'Em All era songs with like mature Metallica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good tone, good singing, a little more tongue-in-cheek, not so like... They're not really like living the No Life to Leather life.
Right, exactly.
Thank goodness. But I'm telling you, dude, this whole Dave Mustaine shit, if I was Metallica and had as many good songs as they have, which they have, how many? They have 120 great songs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A couple turds here and there. I'd be like, hey, you know what? We don't have to play Jump in the Fire or Four Horsemen or Metal Militia or Phantom Lord. We'll play our other 100 great songs.
Yep.
Just to deny that fucking asshole.
But I mean, they're essentially playing everything.
This is all Kill 'Em All and Lightning.
Yeah, they don't even get into puppets.
No puppets.
Helpless is the most recent song. Like you said earlier.
Yep.
That's post puppets.
Yes.
That's the only
That's
one.
87, yeah.
Yeah. They go from there back to the first two records. And I think it's so appropriate for this show.
But they could have done Motor Breath. They could have done No Remorse.
Sure.
They could have done...
Seek and Destroy.
They could have done Seek. They could have done, Fight Fire.
Escape, Trapped in Her Ice, Call of
God
Cthulhu.
damn it. Why won't they play Escape? I mean, yeah, Trapped in Her Ice for sure.
Play it.
But they're doing these Dave songs. I wonder, are they that big? Are they the big enough high road guys where they're like, you know what? The fans love these songs, and despite the fact that it lines the pockets of the biggest douchebag in the world, we're going to play it because they're above it. Is that what's going on?
I think they're above it. Because, let's be honest, Metallica...
Maybe it's petty of me to think like I wouldn't play them.
Well, I'd imagine that, like, financially speaking, like, yeah, if they play a song live and it's on a recording, official recording that people are buying, Mustaine's getting royalties. But at the end of the day, man, these guys are fine.
They're fine.
They've been fine for decades.
Totally.
So for them to play Jump in the Fire, they're like, yeah, Mustaine will get some credit on this, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't even know if they think about like, well, we're bigger, so whatever. I think they don't think about it.
They got other things to think about.
They're so far beyond what
totally,
happened there,
totally.
Which is why they don't ever address it.
Totally.
They don't respond to Dave.
Because they got other shit going on.
When Dave's like, I don't get royalties, blah, blah, whatever. They're like, this thing didn't come out because we hit a pickle. That's not happening.
We hit a dickle. Hey, how about the Kill 'Em All thing? Which Dave signed off on, apparently. I just don't get how he... Well, not to go back to this, but I just don't get how he can be like, no, I need credit for Metal Militia. You had no problem with it all these years for Kill 'Em All, you fucking cocksucking hypocrite fuckhead.
I think our boys in Metallica, specifically Lars and James, have constantly taken the higher road.
They have.
Think about it back in the day. Like, when you look at old footage of Metallica, every time Mustaine, they don't talk shit.
No.
They don't. The only time they talk shit, and so I wouldn't even call it shit, they talk about a matter of fact. You watch Behind the Music or whatever, and then when they talk about firing Mustaine, it's like, yeah, he was overboard. He was this, he was that.
But that's his fault.
It's his fault. But they never go, he was a fucking dick and we fired him. They're like, no, like, we all drank, we all did drugs, but he was way beyond us.
It was too much, yeah.
Totally.
And we wish him well. Like, the
Dude,
vibe has always been like, we wish him well. He's great.
Watch the Megadeth Behind the Music. They talk about Megadeth records. Like, Lars praises Megadeth records. He's like, when Rust in Peace came out, I thought it was fucking great. And when Mustaine talks about Metallica records coming out, he's like,
I wrote that.
well, there's a point in the Megadeth Behind the Music, I think, where it's like, and then I released Rust in Peace, and they released Injustice for All. And then I did Countdown to Extinction, and they did the Black Album. And I'm like,
that's how it
fucking
went?
for real? He thinks they're like out to get him. I think he's built built a whole personality.
Oh my God.
I know this angers you. I think that he basically has built a whole personality and career off of like, Metallica's out to get me.
Yeah.
And they still are in 2018.
But here's what... Here we go.
Here we are 3 hours later.
If he was unsuccessful in like a fledgling, horribly cringeworthy band that just all he had was criticizing Metallica,
right.
that's his only thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be more like, oh, I get it. He's just a loser. But he's made this whole thing that's so legitimate that millions of people love. And he does not give a fuck. He has not reached the point that James reached in early aughts, where he said, you know what? We were so fucking lucky.
Yeah.
And we almost threw it away because I was an idiot. And it's just, we're on the fucking receiving end of 15 years minimum, if not longer, of gratitude from Metallica.
Yes.
The biggest band in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Dave is just stuck in this floundering, bitter pissing contest that he will forever lose.
My question is, what does he
8 inches.
What does he want?
Oh.
Again, what does he want? 8 inches?
It is getting hard to tell. Like,
what would make him stop all this bullshit?
I think I have experience with narcissists. My dad's one of them. I think what Dave would really want is for James and Lars to come out publicly and say, you know what? We owe so much.
We were wrong?
We were wrong. Dave Mustaine is the reason that we were catapulted to thrash legends. We owe so much to Dave. We could never, like, he needs that kind of, like, bravado. And he'll never get it because, of course, it's not true. He contributed.
I mean, there's elements of it that are true.
Right.
He was a big part of certain things, of course.
He was a part of a big wave that was happening.
Sure, of course.
But to insinuate that without him, Hetfield couldn't have been Hetfield
bullshit.
is fucking delusional.
Dave at one point also said when Metallica inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he said something along the lines of like, if I'm not inducted with them, like, it's bullshit. He thought he should be inducted with them.
Because he was in the band before they made their first record?
He doesn't know the rules of the Hall of Fame.
He's a fucking douchebag.
I hate it. Because I love Megadeth. I love his guitar playing. And you know what? And Dave, if you ever listen, I love what you contributed to Metallica.
Dave, if you ever listen, you're
awesome.
a fucking douchebag. We live in the same town. Come find me. We'll talk about it. You know what rubs me too, and you can. I don't want to get in this territory necessarily, but
Are we going too long, by the way?
no. What are we going to save 20 minutes now? Let's just do it. He is this whole Christian guy, right?
Ish. He was for a bit, and he's
backed off
a bit.
that?
I think about a bit.
I have a decade of experience in Christianity,
Sure.
and I respect it and, coexist with all my friends about it. But the most important tenet of Christianity that I know is forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a guy
Yes.
that professes Christ and all this, and he has no concept of forgiveness. He's in a 35-year unforgiveness war.
It's unforgiven.
He's not unforgiven. He's the vitiated saint of thrash who can't forgive. He's the unforgiver. 'Cause you're an unforgiver.
3
Dave.
Mustaine. Yeah.
He needs to let it go, dude.
We don't need to hop around this. I mean, we've talked about this. You guys all know how we feel about this.
For whom the bell tolls.
Tolls for Dave.
Were you ready to? Were you ready to pivot?
No, not at all. Love it. I mean, great performance. I love that they're sticking with the first 2 records. Kirk on the zombie guitar.
Love it.
Great.
James grabs Lars' sticks and he's doing the ba-da go.
Yeah.
He's hitting the cymbals with
Yep.
Lars.
Awesome.
Which I've done before. I've done with the headstock of my guitars before and really fucked up some of my guitars.
You have to do the headstock of your guitar.
Kind of got lost in some moments.
Deal with the consequences later. You have to do it.
Oh, that's my whole life philosophy.
Oh, man.
Do what you want now. Pay
Exactly.
later.
Like earlier, I was driving to the store, and I saw this asshole driving too slow, and I just
Dave?
It was Dave
Mustaine?
Mustaine. It was Dave Mustaine. I saw him. I honked my horn. He goes, "What?" I accelerated and smacked him in the back of his car.
Of course you did.
And I was like, you know what? I'll deal with it later. So,
Here's my card. 555 Dave Mustaine. Fuck you.
555. It's on your insurance, Dave.
My takeaway from Bells, which I felt this way for much of the set, but it really drove home for me of they're playing the song with no lights, there's no
Nothing.
backstage,
Yeah.
there's no production value other than the sound. And this song is just as powerful. It doesn't need
There's no screen with a huge bell
right.
swaying back and forth.
There's no big huge bullshit.
Nothing.
It's just the power of the get it, go,
Yep.
go. Make us fight on the hill. Like, it's just that fucking powerful. And it's
Great.
nice. I, for one, like production value. I like when shit seems otherworldly or when people play, I like tracks in shows. I don't mind hearing Muse sound like
Right.
they're from another planet. I don't have this, like, purity, like, I don't see a guy doing it on stage, therefore
Right.
I hate it.
But I also love about a band like Metallica playing in a record store, no production, and still just like they're playing like they're in an arena.
Because that's the power of the song.
Exactly.
The power of the song
Power of the
always
song, power of the
wins.
band.
Yes, correct.
They're like, fuck it, like we're Metallica. We don't need to be in an arena or an amphitheater or a stadium or a field in a huge festival with 100,000 people.
I totally agree. I feel like the 2 songs that come to mind, I'm curious to hear your opinion on this.
Okay.
A Metallica trump card. Like if Metallica was like, let's say the slate was cleaned and there was like battle the bands for the universe.
Okay.
You got to go play one song to rip the fucking head off the universe. I feel like Metallica has 2 songs that are contenders for me.
Bells.
Bells is number 1 for me. A close second though. Can you guess what it is for me?
Creeping Death.
No.
Puppets.
No.
Really?
Sad.
Ooh.
Sad but true. I think it's Bells and Sad are the 2.
I mean, Bells is pretty short. It's
That's what I
straight
like
to the
about it,
point.
though.
Me too.
There's
yeah.
no big solo, no big. That's what I don't.
There's no solo other than like the
Puppets would be disqualified because there's this whole like. You got to
There's a
go.
whole bridge
You got to go
and-
down and then you come
There's
back.
a whole bridge, then a solo, then a third verse. and all
But
that
Bells just rips your fucking head off. I think Sad rips your head off.
stuff. See, I would have guessed Bells and Creeping Death.
Creep is probably
But
the third
but
song.
Sad But True, I would say is more accessible to anybody.
Right.
It's slower. It's just a bang, Dun, 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 dun.
But the lyric is really hooky too. Hey, I'm your life. I'm the one who takes you there.
Right.
It's a lot of repetition in the
Yeah.
verse, which is a big gimmick and
Very catchy, yeah.
in hooks. You're my mask. You're the one. There's 3 U's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're my
Like,
cover, you're my shelter. It's
Aw.
it's great. I
What would
wasn't
be your
quoting the
votes?
lyrics. I was talking to you.
oh,
You're my cover. You're my shelter, Clint.
I'm honored.
Oh, I'm your dreams.
I'm your lies. I'm your
alibis. I'm inside. Open your eyes.
I'm you.
I'm you, Clint.
I don't know. What do you think? If you had to pick 2 songs for Metallica in the Battle of the Bands of the Universe, no one's ever heard them. And they're up against Bohemian Rhapsody. They're up against Stairway to Heaven.
Sure.
They're up against Iron Man. All right, the greatest song. They're up against, You Can Go Your Own Way. They're up against Sweet Child of Mine. Are you yawning? Okay.
Am I yawning?
Are you yawning?
I'm sorry. It's 1:50 in the morning right now.
Holy shit! How long? Have we
It's
been
almost
recording?
2 a.m. Oh no, dude, we're over 3 hours. Fuck. Longest episode of all time.
All right.
Real quick, I'm gonna say I'm with you on Ruben the Bell Tolls.
Yeah.
I would maybe even say Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Ballady, heavy,
Yep.
great solo, great
Short.
lyrics.
It's like 5 minutes.
Yes,
not
totally.
crazy long. All right.
Yep.
The thing I like the most about the end of the song is they sort of tease Saint Anger.
Yeah.
James makes a joke about the snare, and Lars is going ba da 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 ba da ba, and they start fucking riffing on Dirty Window.
Yeah.
Which I'm into Dirty Window, dude.
Sure.
That's probably my favorite
riff
song
on,
of Saint
They
Anger.
riff on it, they joke, it's fun, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're done. We're not doing that.
Back to reality. Here's Creeping Death.
Right.
Nothing to say really about it.
It's
It kicks
Creeping
ass.
Death.
Well,
Who doesn't like Creeping Death? If you don't like Creeping Death, stop listening to us right now.
if you don't like Creeping Death, what do you like about Metallica?
Well,
Maybe you just like Hero of the Day or something.
I like Hit the Lights, and that's it.
Oh, there are people who like Hit the Lights but don't like Creeping Death.
You're insane if you do.
Oh my god! I
How
hope I
about this?
never meet that person.
I would like to issue a challenge to all of our fans.
Yes.
If you don't like Creeping Death, email us. Nothing long, no explanation. Just say, subject title, I don't like Creeping Death. And then in the content, just say, it's true. That's it. Don't know story needed. I just want to know if we have people listen to us that don't like Creeping Death. That's insane.
Well, now here's one of the most, in my opinion, one of my least favorite Metallica songs, and not because it's bad, but one of the most exciting moments of this record is they close out the show with a super rare gem, Metal Militia,
Yeah.
which I think is just like a treat.
It's a treat.
sounds great.
Another classic example of them playing their hometown area. Record Store Day. They've already gone through just 2 records. That's it. Nothing even on Master of Puppets. But Metal Militia, it's like they're on stage going like, "This is the Metal Militia. This is us."
Totally. Like, how do they not play Battery at this, or Puppets, or
Damage Inc. or
but even
Blackened or One.
But
They
even-
didn't play One.
yeah, Blackened or One or
Understand, man? They didn't do any of that stuff. I love it.
Sad. I know it's so cool, right?
To me, it was them going, okay, we're ambassadors of Record Store Day. It's all about old school vinyl.
They kind of just stuck to that theme.
Let's play that era,
Yeah.
like early metal vinyl era.
It's almost like, though, if they were going to open up with a cover like Helpless, they should have done like Am I Evil or something, like an earlier cover, or Blitzkrieg or something, or not Blitzkrieg, but
It's tough to think that the whole intro with Helpless was planned. It probably was.
had to be that.
It sounded like it wasn't. It was like, hey, what's up? Boom, go right into the drum thing, and then just go right into the song.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Hardwired. So then the disc is rounded off with the debut of Hardwired, which was Minneapolis.
This was the first time they ever played it live. And also, a side note, since then, the intro was a tape. As we know, there's like the Metallica tapes.
Yeah.
The intro tapes. Mm-hmm. This one, it was actually
kind
them,
of snare drum.
it was actually them playing.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was awesome.
At the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. It was the first show there.
Yeah.
Right? August 20th, 2016.
50,000 people.
No big deal.
No big deal. They weren't even on tour technically yet. They're like, hey, we're going to do a show here.
Well,
it's a new stadium.
For
Let's
all of
do
us
it.
who've been on the ride, that was the kickoff of the Hardwired cycle.
I mean, that was the first time, like, all of us were sitting around and all of a sudden online, like, holy shit, they debuted Hardwired. This is amazing.
Well,
Volbeat opened, and
which we saw them. Wait, I don't know. Did we see them in? I saw them in St. Louis.
they were on most of the U.S. tour last year.
They were pretty good. All right,
They're pretty good.
Whatever.
I like them better than Avenged Sevenfold.
Now, all right, did we do it? We burned it down. It's a great look. We're lucky to have a disc 3 like this. I'd rather have it than meandery demos.
Yes,
because this is a disc 3 that I put on all the time. Lords of Summer is fast becoming a very special song to me in my Metallica fandom.
Like I said before, I still wish that was on the actual CD.
Yeah, it would have made a lot of sense.
Even if they made it the last track. Well, you can't really fuck with Split the Bone.
Spit
or let's just say, like, throw it somewhere in the middle. Add an extra song to it. This could have been such a great addition to Hardwired. I get why you didn't do it. The song had been around for a while. You already played it live. You already released a demo version of it. But it's
how about
awesome.
call the record still Hardwired to Self-Destruct without the ... which I hate that.
I don't love it. Yeah.
Make Hardwired the second track, the titular second track. Oh. Call it Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Make Lords of Summer track 1.
Ooh. Great intro. Great intro. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I don't know.
It's a great third disc. We're really lucky to have it. The Hardwired cycle has been a rejuvenating time for all of us. I think we're all as excited as we've ever been.
Oh yeah.
Because how much of a bummer would it be if our favorite band kind of made a shitty record that we're like, it'd be like Kiss. Like, Kiss has made a couple of recent records.
A couple.
With Monster and Sonic Boom that weren't great. We kind of had to like pretend to rally around them.
Sure.
Just so they could go on tour and play all the songs we love. That's not the case with Hardwired. I mean,
no, not even close. Not even close.
They're playing a lot of these songs live.
Yeah, most of them.
Anyway, we want to round out the episode with announcing the winners of our monthly Patreon contest.
What?
We got 5 gifts. We're going to announce the winners now. Now, if you want to get on the ride, we're going to be doing this every month. You can go to patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast.
Yep, do it.
You're going to get the Lunar Satan tracks, the EPs, right? And other nice things.
Oh, yeah.
Some of Ethan's pubic hair we're putting into Petri dishes. And
oh, yeah. You're getting that
the
for
Petri
sure.
Dish Project.
You were getting that for sure.
All right, so here are our winners. We're going to announce them. All right, the 5th prize, our Pusshead Twin Flaming Skull Hockey Puck.
Badass.
And we chose these randomly, by the way. These are not based on who's given the most money or how long. These are completely random.
Right.
There's this, and then once you, here's some other stipulations. If you win the gift and you don't want it and you want to pay it forward, we put the gift back into the queue.
Correct.
And we put you back into the queue as a potential winner.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hear your name and you want the gift, email us, Patreon winner. I won the Pocky Puck. Here's my address.
If you don't want it,
hey, I won the thing. Pay it forward. Put me back in the queue.
Yes, exactly.
Now, the winner of the Hockey Puck is Colby Landis.
Colby.
You did it.
I know Colby.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. He was at our anniversary party.
Okay.
He's an old friend of mine. Now,
well, he won.
I will note, anyone else out there that was hoping to win, this is not rigged. Clint actually went through. I don't know who the winners are.
He didn't even know we were doing this until I got to his house.
It's true. So yes, Colby's a friend of mine, but I didn't know he was going to win. So Congrats, Colby.
Our number 4 prize, which is a Load era poster, which is like the Godfather scene on the back of Load where they're all smoking stogies, which is one of my favorite images of Metallica. Oh, yeah. This is a big poster. The winner of that is Chad Hogg.
A good friend of mine. I'm just kidding.
Shit. All right, Chad.
Chad Hogg. All right. Yeah.
I hope you put it up in your bedroom so you can see it before you go to bed every night. Our 3rd prize is a sealed Beyond Magnetic compact disc.
Sealed? What?
Sealed it.
Kiss from a Rose. Sealed.
I've been kissed by a rose. The winner of that prize is Dylan Himes.
Dylan Himes. Congrats.
Congrats, Dylan Himes. You did it. Despite all odds, you did it. Our fourth prize is a sealed, once again, Kissed by a Rose on the Grave DVD of Pride, Passion, and Glory, 3 Nights in Mexico City. And this winner is Kim Bernstein.
Congratulations.
Holy shit, Kim, you did it. Our number one prize is a very coveted and rare Captains of Crunch poster with embossed signatures of the band. They didn't sign it, but it does have the signatures of the band. Donated to us by our friend Tiffany. And the winner is our friend Christopher Yurgis.
Chris Yurgis, what?
You did it.
You're the best around.
Out on the rains of Africa.
Sure as Kilimanjaro rises like
I've been kind of obsessed with that Toto song recently.
Congratulations, Chris.
All right.
Congratulations to everybody. That was awesome.
If you guys won, email us at metalupyourpodcast@gmail.com with your address and say, I won the thing.
Yeah.
No one lie about it. Don't try to trick us. Well, it doesn't make sense. We're all in this together, and we're going to be giving out prizes for the next, 2 how many years are we going to do this podcast? 18?
At least 8 months.
Having said that, it's been long. We appreciate it. We're tired.
Is it that long? It's only 2 a.m. It's literally 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't even talk right now. I'm so tired.
Look, if you have any thoughts or opinions,
I have so many thoughts right now.
Email us at metalupyourpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to get on the ride on the support level, patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast.
Yep.
Leave us a positive review at the bare minimum. We love you. We appreciate you.
We do. We love you.
We'll see you on the goddamn flip-flop.
All right. With all that to say,
peace.
Adios.
I'm on the fringe of Africa.
I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, babe. I don't want to miss a thing.
Even when I dream of you. The Swedish dream would never do because I still miss you, babe.
Did you say the Swedish name?
Your Swedish Maine.
Your Swedish name.
Is this post-episode shit?
Or we can go ahead and say again.
Peace!
Adios!
If you were our advisor, what would you say? Then I would say delete that.